For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Niggas, bitches and niggas. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. Eloquently putting articulate ass holding me. Up on Nico Swag. My name is Marcus Aurelius, and this is Keep It One. In this corner, from Chicago, Illinois, in the other corner, straight like New York, Mr. Also from Chicago, Illinois. Right out Wichita. Is it Arkansas? It's Arkansas. Mr. Roboto. The nameless from town. Last but not least, straight up New York. The infamous, the notorious, the villainous, boss, level, This is politics as usual. Fuck, motherfuckers. Now check this out. I expect y'all motherfuckers to keep this shit clean. No hitting below the belt. All right, motherfuckers. Let's get this shit started, man. Get it started, man. Y'all know what time it is in this motherfucker, man. All right? Let's see who's in my chat. All right, no more of that shit. No more of that shit. How y'all like my intro, man? We are in the motherfucking building. Let's see who's up in this motherfucker, man. Hope y'all heard my echo, man. Worked very hard on that echo. Adric, what's going on, man? Let's see who's in here. Let's see who's in here. They was about to take out. I was like, yo, man, I hope they don't take this stream down behind that Whitney Houston shit. Tech Boy, what's going on? Dre, what's going on? My man Ultron is in the building. Ferg is in the building. I Talk Shit is in the building. Yami, Ron is in the building. Gayagami is in the building. Seth is in the building. Shock is in the building. Rev is in the building. Stefan is in the building, man. Yes, yes. Says my intros are hot fire. I do what I do and I can do what I can do, baby. What's going on? DeAndre Fox, Alexander Kelly, Tech Boy, Mike Ferg is in the building. William Cochran is in the building. Only one John is in the building. What's going on, y'all? All right. Hope y'all can hear me loud and clear. Hope y'all can hear me loud and clear. Press one in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. Or I'm going to have to do something with my sound. Press one if you can hear me loud and clear, man. What's going on, man? All right. Yeah. Yeah, he said you done good with the theatrics, my nigga. Hey, this is my obsidian here. All right. So we'll make sure everybody's in the motherfucking building on a Tuesday night in this motherfucker. All right. We're gonna talk about some things, man. Yo, if you are on my panel and you are here already, let me know. Let me know. Y'all like my AI bitches, man? Y'all like my AI bitches, man? I got some of the baddest AI bitches, man. Some of y'all already know. On a Tuesday, top of the building is in the building. What's going on, man? Top of the building. I don't know if you saw that intro, man, from the beginning, man. Hey, look, man. Anybody? Oh, Mike Ferg, I see you in here. Who's on my panel? I'm looking for Hardcore Tito, Mr. Z, Sir Tice, Maggie Thompson, Nameless protagonist and Hood Conservative. Yo, check this out. So, just to put y'all up on something. Tech Boy said, them AI bitches was shaking that thing toward the end. Yeah, I see Maggie is in the building. So, just so y'all know, I'm going to post Tito's new link because Tito's channel has been taken down. He's starting all over again. So I know some of y'all want that link. So let me see what it is for him. Maggie, I'm going to send you the link to your inbox. Yeah, he was warning me about that Star Spangled Banner. It's like 3 or 4 channels rocking the Star Spangled Banner by Whitney Houston, man. You know what I'm saying? And they getting the rocket, so I can't rock it. We're warning you, motherfucker. We're warning you. I just didn't want them to take the stream down. I didn't want to start this shit all over again. Oh, Saul is here. That reminds me. Appreciate you, Saul, and everything that you do for the channel and for the space. And shout out to Machismo TV.
Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.
Right. So if you haven't, and you should have by now, but if you are not subbed to Machismo TV, you need to. So let me put that up on the screen so y'all can see that. I need y'all to see that. All right, so that's YouTube/Machismo TV. All right, so let me see. Oh damn, he ain't got a channel still. I don't know how Tito's gonna make it. I don't know how Tito's gonna make it up here. I mean, I am overbooked, I'm not gonna lie. So let me see here. So I'm gonna try to get this up on the screen at some point, man. But yeah, man, Tito just got his joint taken down. Same thing with Obsidian. Obsidian's channel is taken down. And wouldn't you know it, Cynthia G shit is still around. You know, because you know, us getting blocked means everybody getting blocked. And her not having her freedom of speech means none of us have our freedom of speech, man. Because you know, dog, that's how it works around these parts. Yeah, okay, sure. 2 Black Manosphere, male channels taken down, and the bitch's channel is still up. Anybody still thought I was wrong? Anybody still think I ain't know what I was talking about? This is why niggas lose. Anyway, I'm gonna bring Maggie up. This is why niggas lose, dog. This is why niggas lose. Okay, bitch still gets to say what the fuck she want, and 2 niggas is out of here. And that's how it goes around these parts. Been like this. So I'm gonna bring Maggie up here, man. She is a member of my my panel tonight. Maggie, I just inboxed you. I see that you see it. Yes. Hit that link and come on in. Niggas love their ops. Absolutely. Niggas love their ops. I love these ops. I don't know if y'all seen the short that I posted lately. I said, you know, Marcus, Book of Marcus, chapter 1, verse 1. All right. Thou must hate thy ops. Hate thy ops. Do not love your ops. That is rule number motherfucking 1. Thou must not love thy ops. Okay. So I'll wait for Maggie to get up here. And we got a few things to speak on, man. This is politics as usual. Shout out to Boss Level. That's what he calls himself. Boss Level Conservative. He's going to be joining us at some point, man. Mr. Z said he's going to be joining us at around 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So he's going to be running up in his crib. I figured with the long ass intro, he'd have enough time to where we ain't waiting for him that long. So, we got some new things to talk about. From what I understand, Kash Patel might be on the outs with Monsieur Trump there. First of all, I wonder, where did this motherfucker come from? Kash Patel. Where did he come from? Right? Like, how does he qualify to be the security director, the FBI director, I should say, the FBI director? How does he qualify? Right? My man is flying. He's giving you a 404 error. Wait, hold on. Let's try this again. I'm gonna try it again. That's wild if it is, because I get it from them. Hold on, we're gonna try it again. Okay, that's obviously not the same link as the link that I sent you a second ago. But said you gave a woman a slot on the panel. Yes. He said your haters with the warehouse must be. Oh yeah, the hater with the warehouse. You talking about that guy from the Bronx in the projects with the chip paint ceiling? That guy? Yeah, I'm sure he should be punching the ceiling. If he punched the ceiling, the shit would cave in on him. Yes, I gave a woman a spot on the channel because she knows what the fuck she's talking about. And that's what I need here. Yeah, so Kash Patel, from what I understand, is flying his girlfriend around on government resources. He's flying her around on the on the FBI plane. He'd be the first FBI director to get fired for simping. You flying your girlfriend around on the federal jet. On the federal jet, like, y'all want my shorty to come see me? Yeah, don't worry, boo. Yeah, I'll put you on that FBI shit, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm the boss around here. You heard? You heard? Put you on that jet. It's going to just be you. Sit anywhere you want. Lay back. Relax. You fucking with the director, baby. Motherfucker. Federal level simping, bro. Federal level. That's why I try to tell you. You niggas worried about Pookie. We talking about simps at the highest levels of government. The highest levels of government. Motherfuckers get government resources to fly they bitch in. Yo, taxpayer dollars. Flying they bitches in. Okay? Maggie, where you at? Maggie, where you at, man? Where you at? Yes, fed crime simping, man. Federal level simping, FBI simping. FBI, fly bitches in. That's what FBI stands for now. Fly. Hey, I still got my Cheesemos link on the. Hey, nothing wrong with having my Cheesemo shit up there, but let's get that down for now. FBI now stands for fly bitches in. Fly bitches in. Oh, Salty. Okay, so I'm gonna bring Salty up. If your name is not Salty, do not hit the link. Okay. Hey. So let me drop the link for Salty. There you go, brother. Jump on up here real quick. So bring my man Salty up here. He said that's you trafficking. I dropped the link, bro. Where you at? Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Hey. My man Gerald Thomas says Kash Patel flying bitches in you know, basically he doing the same shit Diddy was doing, flying bitches in the fuck. I thought that shit was illegal. Ain't that the Mann Act? You know what I'm saying? Yo, where's my motherfucking panel at, man? So that's your man Cash Patel, right? So tonight we're gonna be talking about. I got a few questions, especially for my man Hood, in reference to us harvesting talent from other places. You know, the visas and things of this nature. You know what I'm saying? I got questions about that. Yeah. Is that Mann Act is only for brothers? Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I'm looking for a few people here. I know Mr. Z is late. I don't see Hood's usual team in this motherfucker. So here we go with Maggie. About to bring up. What's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
StreamYard was being really weird. I sent you a screenshot because it was telling me access was blocked.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it was doing, so I went about it a different way. I went all the way through YouTube instead of through StreamYard to get back into StreamYard. So I'm here now.
Oh, I don't know what's going on with that. I hope they ain't messing with my stream. One of the reasons
I'm sorry, it did say that your stream does not comply with Google standards. So there's probably something going on.
It doesn't comply with what?
Google standards.
It probably has something to do with that video I played.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could think of. It has something to do with the video. So I'm gonna while I'm talking to you, I'm gonna go to my channel. I'm seeing guys still talking to us, so I'm imagining that the stream is still running. And yeah, it looks like the stream's still running. We got ads, we got everything playing on here. So you know, but nah, we still going. We ain't about to throw no other content on there. You know, probably when I'm done with this, I'll kill the I think Arista owns that, Stefan. You know what I'm saying? I think Arista owns that. But yeah, they probably blocked it while I was playing that. That's why you seen it go black. I turned the video off and just kept playing the shit. But anyway. So yeah, let's keep it moving. One of the reasons I wanted to bring you in here because on the past few streams, not only that, but like you know, I have a lot of conversations with Adrian about Project 2025 and the implementation of these things into you know, into law or you know, period. So I want you to speak a little bit on it. Tito was actually here. Let me bring him in. Okay, you made it, brother. So what I want to first, yeah, no doubt. What I want to first do is I want to speak about he said I had the nerve and I played Whitney Houston. I want to speak about some of the things that you said maybe on past streams about how Project 2025 is slowly being rolled out. Speak to that.
Well, the interesting thing is it's not necessarily all that slow because the Heritage Foundation, who made Project 2025, had a lot of these ideas even pre-Reagan, so like LBJ era. But during Reagan, who had the same slogan, "Make America Great Again," that's where that first came from. He was working extensively with the Heritage Foundation, and the Heritage Foundation was his source for a lot of the orders that he put through and the things that he did. He literally used writings from the Heritage Foundation to show, you know, backing for it in, I guess, academia. So when we fast forward to Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation put together this think tank of like 200 very conservative, foundational type people, fundamentalists, I'm sorry. And they put together Project 2025, which was a guidepost or a guideline to the president who would be president in 2025. Now, they do mention Trump a lot. They were making some assumptions there, but again, he's the president, so those assumptions played out. But a lot of it is guidelines. And, when Trump was running and the Heritage Foundation is talking a lot about Trump and working with him on things, and then he's saying, I don't know who that is. But then he appoints a lot of people from the Heritage Foundation to positions, especially cabinet positions. And he has implemented a lot of the things that are in Project 2025. Now, not everything, he hasn't been in that long this time. But there is a Project 2025 tracker where you can track what he's implemented and, the progress that's being made. The Heritage Foundation is pretty vocal that Trump is working with them to implement these ideals and these things through law and executive order, or blocking things, vetoing things as well that they don't want to go through. And then, recently you had Trump saying, he's talking about Russ Vought, and he says of Project 2025 fame, even though, he kept saying that he didn't know what Project 2025 was. So, that's kind of the baseline understanding of Project 2025. And of course, there's Agenda 2030, and there's other different things going on as well.
So of those things, and then I'm gonna jump to someone else, right? Of those things that that you've seen being implemented, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are the most, if any, disturbing things, right? Because I want to, because I didn't read the whole Project 2025, but I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't necessarily opposed to every last thing in there, right? I wasn't opposed to every last thing in there. So, what has been implemented that should disturb us?
Interestingly enough, I'm on the road, so I can't pull the tracker up.
I got
But
you.
I
Is
think you
Mhm.
have a couple things that we should be interested about is, some Supreme Court decisions that give President Trump more authority. It sort of puts the checks and balances of the three-pronged system out of balance, by saying that he can't be held accountable for anything that he does while he's in office. And then also, he can overrule the other two branches of government. Um, that's a big one, because then there is nothing that stops him from moving forward faster with any more of these things. There are, as you would assume, he's new to the presidency this time. He's only been in a while, and it's year one of a 4-year term. So he's there are things that are being implemented, and I keep saying he, but I want to be clear with this. It's not Trump doing all of it. He appointed people, and then, conservative fundamentalist Christians get involved with other people in the government. They put a lot of money behind getting people elected. They are lobbyists. They are the only group that is allowed to come in and meet privately and independently with lawmakers, because they say they're Christian. They're coming in to pray, but it's a lobbyist group that's coming in to pray. So there's certain things like that where we already know about APAC and different things, and, big pharma and different lobbying groups that make it to where your voice is not heard as just a block voter, because the lobbyists have the ear of them. And so the Heritage Foundation has a huge foothold. I think the other thing is they've done things to grow politicians. So they've taken these young kids Now, remember, this all started back during Reagan when they were really pushing for stuff. They've taken young kids who are in these like fundamentalist churches that are homeschooled, and they school them and train them and bring them up in a way to view the world in a certain way about who is the enemy. You know, think about like Joel Webbon, how, yeah, Black people can be in the church, but they can't bring their culture because their culture is violence and sex and da da da, all this projection. So I think that's another thing to look at is we need to be even more careful about the people who are running for office and looking at where do they come from? What are their ideals? Because again, you have people like JD Vance who are trying to move us towards like minority port and technocracy, and then getting involved with Errol Musk and Elon Musk, and who are Errol Musk is just at baseline a very vocal racist person. So I think, make America great again is what they're trying to do. And of course, when Reagan was saying make America great again, that's coming right off of civil rights. So um, we all knew what he meant by make America great again. But then as conservatives are saying it, and people who are diehard Trump fans, they've given up their conservatism and they've just become Trumpists. Um, they um, they are they want to look towards this Gilded Age. And if you think about when the Gilded Age was, that wasn't a time that was really great for anybody except wealthy white men and their white wives. So those are just, I kind of went on a diatribe there, but those are the things that really you should be watching for.
All right, shout out to Clue Studio. Clue Studio, thank you for the $5. All right, he said salute 100. What's going on, bro? Okay, so before I have one of you guys respond to this, I'm gonna go to Salty. Salty, what did you need to drop on us? Saul, you there? Saul, you there? Okay, we're gonna come back to Saul. Tito, you got anything to respond to that with? Because I seen you, I seen you react. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Yeah, actually, I can respond to each and every point. I guess I would be one of those people that Maggie is talking about, and as she terms of fundamentalist schools, because I did come up through Jesus Our Brother Catholic School on 84th and Saginaw, on the east side. So she goes on to talk about one day, well, not one day, but in the present day, large businesses such as big pharmaceuticals and techs lobbying against the black vote. But I don't think anything can be more detrimental to the vote of so-called black people than bringing in hordes and hordes of illegal aliens from other countries, right? They come into our neighborhoods, they drive rents up because they live maybe 10 to 15 at a time in a one-bedroom apartment. And then the landlord sees this, raises rent, demands one half of the rent in cash and the other half of the rent in a money order or wire transfer, so he can make drug dealer money off of his apartments, right? They drive wages down because they go to the same, because most black men don't have degrees, right? Despite what a lot of the boule liberals would like to express to you, most of us don't have degrees. So a lot of us work in the trades, a lot of us work manual labor, and under this liberalist system and under this wrongful interpretation of Wong Kim Ark versus the United States, I believe in 1897, I think, we've been living under this false paradigm of birthright citizenship that actually isn't legal and actually is not constitutional, right? So they come into our neighborhoods and they work for cheaper wages. They stagnate wages, right? This is all mostly under the democratic system. most big government actions have been undertaken by Democrats. That has been the majority party in this country ever since its creation in 1842, right? So, irregardless of whatever lobbying actions that big tech companies and big pharmaceutical companies are doing, nothing can ever be more detrimental to the black vote than bringing in hordes of illegal aliens and propping up African and Caribbean people that look like black people to run for office, right? Therefore negating the need of convincing an actual so-called black person to sell out, because the Caribbean niggas already paid for. To answer her point about fundamentalist schools minting politicians, yeah, I went to a Catholic school, and I think we were members of the John Birch Society. We donated to we actually donated to a charity that was buying clothes and everything for the Afghans as they fought the Russians, right? That's how, I guess that's how bought into republicanism we were at my school. But if our schools and people that are home schools do churn out conservative ideologues, then what does our university system churn out? It seems like our university system churns out communists, socialists, and the most hateful, vitriolic, and corrosive feminists possible. You have people that come out of these university systems physically attacking other people for a difference of opinion, or because they hold up a sign, or because they say they're praying outside of an abortion clinic. So I would think that that is much more dangerous, or much more ominous for the prospects of the political discourse in this country than just a conservative ideologue saying things that you don't like to hear. And as far as her point about hearkening back to the Gilded Age and how it was only good for white people, that's not true. In that Gilded Age she's referring to, we had a network of all black towns. And now what do we have?
So
King
I'm
Drive,
gonna
Cottage Grove. What do we have?
Saul, was there something urgent you wanted to say real quick?
I mean, it's already resolved. It was a waypoint link. You got him up there. You got your folks up there. It was a waypoint link. So it's all good. But I mean, since I'm already here, I mean, I guess I can, do one or two rounds if that's okay with you.
Well, before you say anything, Hood, how long do I have you for?
It's not a time thing, but I'm driving, so my background isn't really, it's not great tonight. So I'm not gonna say all that much.
Okay, that'd be kind of crazy. See it as though you're kind of like very important to the show we're running here. I thought I had hit you with the because I had to move the date because a lot of people weren't good for Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday or Monday would have been way perfect for me, but I'm gonna be up all night. I got to do a DC run tonight, so
We'll make it happen. We'll work around it. So, Saul, talk to us.
I guess what's missing from what was presented as a premise by Maggie is one of cultural relevance. I mean, these aren't things that you could take and do plug and play with. A lot of this has to do with cultural relevance. Christianity, some communities, isn't necessarily a bad thing or a boogeyman. In fact, Christianity had been pivotal in the liberation of Black people here with the AME churches and their ties and networks of the Underground Railroad. And then, of course, there is the point about the Gilded Age or whatnot. America became America as a superpower during that time, the Gilded Age. Yes, you did have all these robber barons and stuff like that. But if you're talking specifically about Black people, it's one of the few times where we were actually unrestricted to participate in the marketplace.
In capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. There's been kind of constant interference with us and hamstringing us with these sorts of policies that interfere with us to create a level of dependency in which, you know, from then on, you know, we haven't fared any great, you know what I mean? So I mean, at least that's my point with that. I mean, project 2025 to us, I mean, a lot of us, is kind of like, well, you know, it makes no difference because, you know, the status and situation that we've been in isn't going to be too much different than where we are or have been on the left side of things, because most of the benefits, set asides, and things that we've pushed for have been, you know, outsourced and given to other groups, immigrant groups, in particular, ideologues such as, you know, feminists or whatnot. In particular, if you're a straight black man, since you 9 times out of 10 do not fall under a multiple, would you say, multiple category DEI, then you're least likely, based on the concept of intersectionality, to actually, you know, benefit.
Right.
So, you know, I just wanted to, you know, kind of, you know, put that out there, but that's where I land my plane.
So as it stands right now, we have a very imbalanced panel. We have pretty much 3 conservatives. And I had planned to balance this out. Hood.
Yeah.
We're gonna work with you, man. You know, I want you to kind of like do your best to, I guess, respond to some of the stuff that you're
No,
hearing.
I got a perfect second right now. I'm about to stop for a quick minute, but here's the thing, man. And I want to follow up on what Saul was pointing out, because one of the last things she said that kind of struck me was more about the Gilded Age, and it doesn't go unnoticed that, you know, and you know, we're going to be very, very respectful about this all, and it's not a personal thing whatsoever. But ideologically speaking, she is my opponent and I am hers. As a feminist, you know, the white thing is really neither here nor there. The black white thing is kind of superficial. But as a feminist, I am not her friend as a straight black man, and I think he's
So,
an erased thing.
so Hood, let me do one thing real quick. Right? Hold that thought. Maggie, would you consider, because I've never heard Maggie say I'm a feminist, right? I've never heard her express it. So I'm gonna ask her directly, would you consider yourself a feminist? And if so, what is the what is your, because this so, like, you know, these words have so many different definitions now, different approaches and different waves of feminism and stuff like that. So before we move forward saying she's a feminist, I just want to, right, I want to get to that piece right there and then move forward. So Maggie, real quick, because I don't want to step on Hood's time.
There's a couple things I don't think that I was clear about, and I'm going to take responsibility for that. When I'm talking about fundamentalist Christianity, I'm talking about like shiny, happy people and the 21 and counting folks, not just people who are generally fundamentalist Christians. So, and nor would I ever say that Christianity is bad. I would never say that. And just to be clear, during the Gilded Age, Black towns were destroyed, bombed, flooded, unincorporated, 60 to 100. During the Gilded Age, that's between Reconstruction and Jim Crow. That's the rise of the KKK, the White League, the Red Shirts, the White Liners, the Rifle Clubs. So, you know, that was why I made the statement that I did. But to answer your question, no, I am not a feminist, nor do I identify as a feminist in any way.
Okay. So, Hood, you can go from there. I mean, unless you somehow get feminist energies from her that I don't know. But I didn't want to assume that. It sounded like a lot of, you know, presupposition. But continue, Hood. You got the floor.
Yeah, fine. I'll take her at her word for it, and we don't have to put a label on it if that's what it sounds like. But from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of overlap, and her criticisms and the criticisms broadly that a feminist would put forward. So forgive me for being confused. However, that being said, when you bring up stuff like the Gilded Age and you attempt to obscure with the racial distraction, I can't help but to wonder if when a person is so opposed to the Christian order of things and seem to be opposed to the kind of right wing vision of things, where would that leave me as a straight heterosexual patriarchal man? Being black is just an extra layer on top of it. But again, I only see that as something that's brought up to kind of distract from the more salient points about, like, immigration, nationalism, social policy, social welfare, and not for nothing. I wonder if you don't consider yourself a feminist per se, then I would have to ask what her thoughts about the gender dynamics really are and the roles between men and women. Because I don't want to speak for you, but when I hear things, it sounds like the gaps fill themselves. But I'll stop there for now.
So Hood, before and Maggie, 1 second. I want first let me shout out my man Gold P with the $5 super chat. He said keep it 100 grand. I'm streaming you on my channel. Keep winning. Shout out to you, brother, man. Money for the plate. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, man. Next time I see you on, I'm gonna definitely be there. Hood, real quick question for you. Is the Christian nationalist approach the only way to approach being a patriarch?
From the position of Western culture, yes. I don't know any other approach that fits what we have and how we've gotten here. Like when we talked about, I think Saul mentioned how during the Gilded Age, that was also the time that we rose to global prominence as a nation. I don't think we should attempt to decouple these things. It's folly.
I don't know how much of that I agree with, but I'm gonna go to Maggie to respond to you.
So just to be clear, the question was what my thoughts are on gender roles. Is that right?
More or less, you can take it from there.
Okay. As far as gender roles, while I'm not a fundamentalist Christian, I don't dislike Christianity and I don't necessarily talk about what I do and do not believe. But what I do see from a behavioral standpoint is that women are good at certain things in the family home and men are good at certain things in the family home, and there are skills to be had, and submitting to a man as a leader that you've chosen to be your leader is not a bad thing. And as we have to look at our choices, right? We say this all the time, when people complain, it's like, well, choose better. If you chose that person to lead your family and lead your life, then there should be no problems with submitting to his plan for the family. Is that what you're talking about in the family home?
Yeah, I suppose so. It's an answer. Thank you.
I'm going to say this, and I want to be clear. I think that feminism has been kind of like twisted. I think that on a basic level, and when I say basic, I'm talking about the idea that women are human too and respect them like humans. If that's what feminism is, then I could rock with that. All the other things that they've kind of like layered on top of that is when it gets kind of ugly. Shout out to Complex Design. I see you in the building. Dre, I see you in the building, and my man Deuce One is in the building. You late. But anyway.
Respectfully, Marcus. I got a brief retort when you get a chance about the operating definition of feminism.
No, I'm just no. I'm not arguing the operating definition. What I'm saying is, if people are operating under that, and I'm talking about like, you know, from way back, if people are operating with that, like if that's a component of it, then I can rock with that component and the rest. So I want you to understand that I don't accept the whole thing, especially how it presents itself today, and even some of the components of yesterday I don't rock with. But what I'm saying is, on that basic component right there,
if somebody drives a bus, two different human beings drive the bus, they should more or less be paid the same for the most part. If I'm understanding you right.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying just on the basic fundamental treatment of human beings. Right now, my feelings on what you just asked me is a little bit more controversial. Right. So this is what I'm gonna say. Shout out to my man Blacklight. Blacklight, I hope you caught that intro, man. Legendary shit that I'll be doing on this channel, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll be feeling like, man, be giving motherfuckers too much. So smash the like, hit the bell, hit the super chat, share the stream, support the channel. Please listen to this man, do all those things that he's asked you to do. This is what I'll say regarding what you just said, Saul. It's funny, and I was talking to Dr. Thunder about this. I recently had a conversation on the phone with Tanya TKO. She's doing a paper. She's going for her master's degree. Look at Tito. So she wanted to interview me about the manosphere. And the reason I decided to do it is because I find that most people who write about the manosphere don't know what the fuck they be talking about. Now, Tito was like, you better not trust that bitch, man. You better not. And he was right. He's right. He's absolutely right. Right. You know, Tito, you was right. You were right. Okay. I feel as though at the end of the day, she's going to take what we talked about and she's going to find a way to flip it and bounce it. Right. Long as it ain't, if she runs with it, y'all will hear about it. But I bring it up to say this, right? During the conversation, I said to her something that I've said many times is controversial, and even Hood Conservative has said it. I don't think that, hate to say it, but female empowerment is not good for society. It's not. And while I see that there's problems with that, because at the end of the day, it's like this. I said, who knows if the cure for cancer doesn't come from a woman? Right? That's a real thing that could happen. But at the same time, I feel that by and large, when you give women, power, they don't think communal, they think for self. And that's just what it is. So, as far as you saying bus driver, should they be paid the same? It might be the same job, but I feel in society, men have more of a financial imperative than women do. And that's just what it is. Nobody looks at women like they should be supporting a bunch of people, or they will be outcast, or they're dusty, or whatever. I think that women in the workforce taking certain jobs have created this thing where it's like, okay, now the men who would be doing the thing to take care of all of the people that society commands that they take care of are now at a handicap. You give these jobs to these women, and then they decide that they don't need the men anymore, right? And we've made them comfortable enough to feel this way, right? And by the way, Deuce, we didn't all miss the intro. We were all here. You weren't here. But anyway, what I'm saying is, while this is not true for all women, it's true for most, right? It's true for most. So I don't think that. I think that for the most part, women get into a position where they're making money and they're not thinking, oh, I'm going to take this money back to the community. or I'm gonna take this money back to the like that's not the general. They're thinking I'm gonna go get the new handbag, I'm gonna go get the new shoes, or maybe I'm gonna take care of my son because I'm a single mother and it's gonna be about us. Or you give women power, they thinking what they're gonna do for the other women. They're not thinking what they're gonna do for the collective. And that's my position on that. And as far as wage gaps and things of that nature, I think because there's a responsibility gap, a financial responsibility gap between men and women, then a wage gap is actually rational and justified. I told Tanya, I said, until women who are successful and get the bag drop hypergamy as a mating concept, then we'll end up being here. The more money women have, the more money the men who date those women or marry those women gotta have. If a woman makes 6 figures, a man gotta have 7. If a woman makes 7, a man gotta have 8. You would think that if a woman achieves 7 figures, 8 figures, she would take the Rihanna approach and just marry the dude that she likes or date the dude that she likes. But they don't do that. They're looking for the guy that are their financial superior and their superior and everything else. And that's just how they're made for the most part. I don't know how to not make them like that, but that's just what it is. So, Saul, that's my answer to that question. Shout out to Guyagami for the $2 super chat, greeting and support, and I appreciate you. Women compete to take men's jobs. They turn around and blame men for not being in a higher position so that she could be hypergamous. Total insanity clown show. I just don't understand the purpose of complaining about the wage gap and then complaining that the man don't make more than you. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh, that was hood.
Remind everybody. Remind everybody.
Well, the thing I want to point out.
Who's going first?
Tito.
Okay.
Okay. Two things I want to remind everybody of, piggybacking off of what Marcus just said. Number one, in 1972, President Nixon, in August of 1972, I believe, President Nixon took the country off of the gold standard, and we went from being a fractional reserve currency system to a fiat currency system. Now, one thing to remember about a fiat currency system is that it needs inflation to stimulate demand for the currency, or else it'll be worthless. And so all of a sudden, that's when you see Dorothy Pittman Hughes later on every year in October of 1972 taking a picture, and Dorothy Pittman Hughes, of course, being a Jamaican teller, taking a picture with Gloria Steinem, and then all of a sudden the push came to bring women into the workplace to stimulate inflation, thereby stimulating demand for our new status as having a fiat currency instead of a fractional reserve currency. And the second thing I want to remind people of is that white women in America never had any interest in voting or being politically active until after the 15th Amendment was passed in 1868.
Which actually kicked off the Gilded Age, which actually kicked off the progressive era, in which a lot of white women in particular voiced their grievances about, their place in the home, and obviously kicked off what is the modern day version of what feminism is now. And of course, using a sort of paternalistic aspect of all the poor, settlement house movement, Florence Nightingale, onto, Mary Richmond and all the other people who are out there voicing their grievances. And of course, that kicked off, the sort of antagonism between the Klansmen and all these other people who were established before in protecting white women's virtue. Let's not forget that either.
I wanted to point out the sort of class war aspects of feminism.
Wait, Hood, let me catch up to these super chats real quick. Ghetto User says, support for the effort. Good point as usual, Marcus. Keep up the good work. My man Deuce One says he is out of here, Jack. Drop me with the tit spot as usual. I'll hit you tomorrow, bro. So Hood, talk to us.
Yeah, about the class war part. Like, originally, a lot of the original feminist writers, they weren't like the poor lower class white women who had to work in the coal mines just like a man. It was like the son, it was the daughters of wealthy men who wanted what their brothers and uncles had and all that kind of thing. But right now, what's happening is that it's obliterating the lower classes where there is less desire to marriage, less desire for long term pair bonding. Like the women literally have options other than forming a family. And it's creating dynamics now where only the middle and upper middle class are even doing the whole generational wealth thing. And so it's a crazy class war on the lower classes where the women at the lower class are just perpetually single, and it destroys any sort of class mobility for in a large way.
Are we in a pause?
No, my mic was off.
Okay.
So Maggie, you want to respond to some of this?
I can.
I don't mean you want to, but
No, I think it's another diatribe that I can go off on because, you know, nothing anybody is saying about feminism is wrong because it does start with suffrage, and suffrage did start with wealthy elitist women who, their biggest impetus to wanting the vote was because they wanted the vote before black people got the vote. Like that, before that, they weren't all
black
that
men.
interested.
Let's be specific. Black men, right?
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Right.
And they put out a lot of propaganda about that. What, you want black men to be your doctor? You want black men to be, your teachers? Like it was a lot of like boogeyman tactics that were going on, and the whole point was they didn't want to be usurped. So they're already in like second place, right? They're the vice president of the bullshit. Oh, sorry, language. And they didn't want to be usurped, right? And so then they do get interested in that. And yeah, those things are the foundation for feminism. But then when you fast forward towards, feminism, like when you look at the 1970s and you look at Gloria Steinem and you look at how I believe it was the CIA was involved in the rise of feminism. There was um, a real underpinning to that. And the unfortunate thing is what they were, out of one side of their mouth, they're telling women, well, this is just about you being treated as a human. This is about, and you're talking about a time, like, especially during the Gilded Age, they had something called a nag's bridle that they would put on women, black women and white women, which was a metal cage put over your face with a metal bar put in your mouth so that you shut the hell up. And, they were putting white women, since they couldn't get divorced because of their religion, they were putting them into insane asylums so that they could say they weren't married anymore, and then they could get married to somebody else. So there were some grievances there that were real, but the impetus wasn't there. They're telling everybody, well, feminism is just about, you are an equal human being too, and all human beings are equal human beings. But then the CIA is doing stuff. And then what happens is you have this group of people who, yes, because of fiat currency, they do want women in the workplace to make more money. Then they circumvent the civil rights so that white women could be considered a minority, so that all that money can continue to funnel into the white household. Then you have, it wasn't the white women in mass who went to work during that time, because it was, well, we have a choice to stay home and we're going to stay home, because they had the luxury of that choice. And, when you fast forward into feminism now, it's the patriarchy that they talk about, this toxic patriarchy, whatever. Just flip the script. Women are better than men. Women birth the whole world. Without men, women would flourish. Women can do everything. Women, it's everything that they accused men of being. So for all those reasons is why I do not and won't identify as a feminist, because of all of that history.
You know, you just actually highlighted something ironic. I just wanted to point it out. It's funny to me. The women, you mentioned the grievance the women had back then. The men would use sort of like the what do you call it when you get put into an insane asylum? Yeah, being committed, right? The men would have their wives committed into some insane asylum and say, "Oh, this woman's crazy." And yet, fast forward all these years later, the majority of therapy patients, female, the majority of prescriptions for like psychoactive things or whatever, you know, depression and that kind of thing, women. And so I think it's a problem that just hasn't gone away. Maybe those guys weren't totally lying. And not only that, when you really nail down to it, a lot of the women who are having these problems, incredibly liberal. It's the liberal progressive women who are also flirting with mental illness. Maybe it's just the same as it ever was.
Can I respond to that since
Wait,
I'm a psychologist?
before you do that, Leon, I got to bring up Mr. Z first. Saul, do you want to remain? If Saul comes down, I can bring you up, Leon. But I first got to bring up Mr. Z. Mr. Z, the link is in the chat. If you're hitting it and you're having problems getting in, that probably means my behind the scenes is probably loaded with people. Let me know if you're having problems hitting that link, Mr. Z. But we're here.
Can I say something in the case that I do got to drop? I just want to point out a couple of things. People have to, and liberals don't like to say this, people have to remember that, you know, feminism as it exists in this country and its framework and its trajectory had a sort of animus in which the black man was the pinnacle boogeyman evil. And liberals don't like to, you know, state this, or, you know, it was more or less 100-year project that culminated in the CIA and them using state power against black men in particular, because somehow or another, you know, Brad almost always seems to be exempt from that, you know. And I would like to point out, you know, shortly after the Gilded Age, or, you know, during which, you know, let's not forget, you know, the birthplace of, you know, eugenics, that as a field, right? And, you know, also the occult or whatnot, you know, and using that as a means to, you know, undermine black churches and structure. You know, these are things, you know, to also, you know, consider when it comes down to, you know, the trajectory of feminism and how it's damaged, you know, the black family in particular. So I just at least wanted to lay those things out too.
I gotta let Maggie respond to Hood.
What I wanted to respond to was the mental health. You know, it's two different conversations to talk about the advent of psychoanalysis and psychoactive drugs during, you know, towards the end of the Gilded Age, because that's Freudian time. And, you know, a lot of his theories were based on women having anxiety disorders because of sexual repression. Like, they were told they were going to go to hell if they enjoyed sex with their husbands. So there was a lot of issues. You know, Freud created a machine to elicit orgasms out of women because that calmed them down. Like, this isn't an age of mental health that was much beyond the occult and just making stuff up as you go along.
That is hilarious that Freud made that machine. I will never think about that the same now.
He also, just so you know, there were many of his theories that were used to be dismissive of or to hide other white men's sexual abuse of children. So, you know, that's the state of mental health at that time. And so, you know, we can't really trust what was going on.
I mean, I'm going to be delicate about this, but you have to be suspicious of Freud and his cover of white men. I don't think he was protecting white men. He's got a different allegiance, but I'm going to leave it there.
So
I totally get what you're saying, though.
hold the conversation. So right now I have Mr. Z in the back. So Mr. Z has to take a spot, right? It got to be one of you guys' spots. Either.
Hey, take my spot because I'm picking up the kids right now.
Okay.
At
All
my
right.
mama's house.
I got you. So let me drop you down then, and then I'm gonna bring up Mr. Z. Mr. Z, what's going on, bro?
What's up with you? What's up, panel?
So
what's up, chat?
Right. So now I'm getting to a more balanced situation. So first, before I bring you in,
You
Mr.
out here
Z,
looking like the stereotype, Marcus. You out here looking like the stereotype. You got Maggie, the white woman, defending herself against all you.
crazy, man. I wanna first have I'm gonna have Maggie because I think Maggie was no. Who was responding? It might have been Hood. Was it Hood Conservative? Who was responding before?
It was on Hood. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we were talking about.
Okay.
So
So Hood, you were saying something.
well, no, it's over now. We were just talking about the whole women's association to the mental health thing and just the trends over time. But it's over now. We weren't really having a deep back and forth.
All right, so I'm gonna have Mr. Z. I don't know how much of this you've been hearing about. I guess right now at the moment, because I got a list of topics. I'm gonna bring some other stuff up, but at the moment, I think we're talking about feminism, and I don't think that. I think everybody is pretty much in agreement about that. I don't think, and that's why I wanted to be clear about Maggie's position on that, because me and her have had conversations, and she's never come across as somebody who supports any of that. So don't let the smooth taste fool you. So Mr. Z, I don't know how much you've been listening to before you got up in here. Did you want to speak to any of this, or should I move on to the next thing?
The feminism piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw that as inevitable. Once black men got the right to vote, white women were never going to let that happen. And somebody said it earlier, they were never going to go from second to third place, especially not behind some Negroes, right? So what you have now is kind of this proxy war, this proxy fight that's been going on between white women and black men. Quite frankly, white women attacking black men through proxy, so through white men and through black women. For the past century and some change-ish, right? So that this was inevitable. And second wave feminism, whatever third wave is supposed to be and whatnot, that's what you see keep on being reiterated. And it's really not about female empowerment per se. It's about keeping Negroes in their place. I think I'm only reiterating what we already know. So I'll pause right there.
Yeah. I think that the third wave is just a cultural collective gaslighting, really. That's heavy on the gaslighting.
So shout out to Nameless Protagonist. When I made this date, me and I didn't get to reach out to him, so he says he's still stuck at work. I don't know how long you're gonna be there, or if you will become available before this stream ends. But while you're busy, I will at some point bring Leon back. Leon will, I guess, substitute for you while you're gone. So because I do need the panel to be balanced, right? So I'm gonna move on to something else, right? I'm gonna move on to something else. We're gonna jump off the feminism train for a second. This is what I'm gonna ask, right? Something I'm curious about. I don't know if I brought this up before. So Trump is basically saying, right, that he has to, or that the U.S. has to recruit talent and skill from outside of the country, right? So he wants to give out, I guess, visas to whoever he needs to bring over here, whatever the case may be.
H-1Bs and whatnot.
Right. So everybody's tripping about. By the way, Nameless, if you can contribute from the chat, I can work with you. I can work around that with you, if you can do that. But yeah, so at any rate, I want to ask the more conservative guys on the panel and then also have Maggie speak on this. This is how I feel. I feel like the places that we're getting this talent that we're pulling in here, the places, these are like countries that are poorer than us. Yet they have the talent that are of a developed nation, first world developed nation like the U.S. needs. And I think that's crazy. I think that the U.S. kind of hinders. And Hood, you and Friedman was talking about this on one of your streams very recently, right? Y'all talking about student loan debt and all this other stuff, right? I feel as though if the U.S. government will invest in its own talent, we wouldn't have to pull people in here. But because we want to sell education to people here, education itself is a business. That's why we need to pull people in here. That handicaps America.
Mark, can I give you something to think about?
Jump in there real quick.
It's not just that it's cheaper labor. It's cheaper labor. Instead of paying me or you or Tito or anybody here $250,000 walking in the door, why don't I bring in the Indian for $125,000?
That's an argument. So I want
That's not even the real reason, bro. I don't even think that's the real reason. Corporate interests love money.
That's not what the tech guys were saying in the 90s.
Hold on. That is all true. That is all true. But I think I want to add something to that. I want to add something to that that is a more potent reason for why we're experiencing what we're experiencing, right? Because the tech guys are just money. Money always wants whatever is the best, equation. But there are equations that are deeper than money. The brown world, by and large, is the left-wing world. White Europeans are the only real proper right-wing force at this point. And if you flood the white European world with the brown world, it will crush nationalism and it will be global socialism. That is the ultimate ploy, is to flood America with the leftist third world, and then America and all of the white countries become third world leftist nations by default. And the money means nothing.
But you have your right wing president pulling those people here.
A lot of socialists are white. I don't know if that means anything against what I'm pointing out.
We're not talking about white. I said right. In other words, you're saying it's a liberal agenda to pull people from these countries when you have Donald Trump saying that we need the talent from these places.
This is why Trump is kind of at war with MAGA, though. No, he's on the H-1B thing. This is why MAGA is kind of pissed at Trump. Between AIPAC and H-1Bs, that's all of our criticism of Trump, essentially. But it's really it seems like his arms being twisted in some kind of way. Like there's a lot of pressure being put on it. And so even if he would want to get out of it, there's something pulling him into it.
No, he's saying that we ain't got enough talent here, so he got to get it from these places.
Yeah, I don't believe that's the real truth.
Well, then he's lying. Go ahead, according to you. Go ahead, Tito.
When did he say that? When a few months ago he just raised the cost for an H-1B all the way up to $100,000.
Exactly, he did.
Then I don't know what's going on because he. So none of y'all remember him saying what I said he said? None of you remember that?
Bro, this was just a couple days ago, bro. He did say these things.
No, I get it. Go ahead.
But there is the offset from the administrative burden and a cost to companies to sponsor them. It's like, okay, go ahead. I'm opening the free market or whatnot, but it still disincentivizes companies from fully relying on Indians and other folks with 100,000. I mean, you just posited yourself that, I mean, I don't know if it was you per se. I don't know if it's you or Mr. Z just made the, posit that, that instead of it comes down to cost, and it's not cost. You know what I mean? So I think that it might be a hybrid form of the sort of would you say operation paperclip and brain draining. We're gonna steal the talent out of the world, but at the same time, not so much so that it actually impacts our standing in a global marketplace.
So Ty added that that's for new applicants, right? So as far as he's talking about the raising of the price.
True, which is indeed something that Trump proposed. Before it was just willy-nilly free and come as you go, which was more or less a Biden administration and everybody else before that. Yes, he's freed up stuff or whatnot, but at the same time, it's like, okay, if you're gonna do it, come at your own expense.
No, I get that. Hold on, let me get out of here. So hold on, because we're getting away from the original question that I asked, right? My question is, and before I get to I think let me put stars on some of these comments, right? Do you think that America is stifling itself by not sponsoring enough domestic skilled people? Whether I understand, and Mr. Z, I understand what you're saying as far as it being cheaper labor, and capitalism always commands cheaper labor. So let's not act like that's not a part of it, right? But do we feel as though this is this the truth? And I'm asking anybody on the right side of the line here.
Okay, so when you look at average salaries and benefits and things of the sort, you will see that Indians have some of the highest in the tech industry. Let's start there, right? When you look at, the added cost of them coming over here, and you take a supply and demand curve, and you're actually thinking about econometrics, there's less incentive or whatnot. If I'm not mistaken, I will agree or concede to the point that we need to see more policy when it comes to people who are high school, maybe some college level folks, being pulled into the industry. But to a certain extent, I think that, maybe he's doing what he needs to do as far as hamstringing them at the same time trying to promote more endemic national talent or whatnot. I mean, it really, when you think about the numbers, what you all are proposing, and even the supposition that it's cheaper labor, that's not exactly true. That's not true at all.
Do you think this talent that's coming from overseas is invested in America? Like someone that would be from here would be? These are just questions.
Not only are they not invested in America, they are ethnically hostile to America, and they weaponize ethnic nepotism for that purpose to act out their hostility against Americans.
I do agree with. Real quick, Mark, I actually do agree with them on the ethnic nepotism, particularly from Indians. There's actually been articles written about this where Indians bring their whole goddamn caste system to the tech world, and the white folks had to break that crap up. They saw it in Seattle, they saw it in San Francisco, where the Indians bring their whole caste system, and the Brahmins be only hiring the Brahmins and actually discriminating interracially, interethnically against the lower caste folks in the Indian hierarchy. So yeah, that's a real thing. Right.
So what I'm saying is, if you're gonna put this high fee, and again, Ty just said, is a bunch of let me put the number back on the screen. There's 730,000 active H-1B visas not affected by that fee. That's what he's saying. So I think what Ty is saying is kind of like a useless gesture, right? Because you got that many people who already have the visa and it's active. But what I'm saying is, would you even have to do this? Because we talk about the Democrats and bringing all these migrants and illegals and stuff like that, but then you know, we talk about, oh, we need the talent to come from overseas, you know, if it's truly America first, right? And I remember hearing Trump, the thing that I said he said earlier, I heard him say that myself, right? So it's not something I read, it's he said it, right? So even though he's raised the fee, so to speak, again, do we think that we are stifling ourselves by not training these people to do this stuff in house? I think that if we kind of built a culture like a lot of these countries do, a lot of these countries build their people up so they can compete globally. But
But
we got so much.
aren't you
Bad.
starting with a false premise that we are not building these people up? Like, did MIT go out of business? Did Berkeley burn down? Did Harvard and Yale stop running? Like,
No, no,
who
no,
was to
no,
say
no,
that we
no.
stopped producing talent?
Okay. Okay. So the premise is that they said we don't have enough talent to where we got to import some people. What I'm saying is there are people, right? Talented people who probably can't afford the education because we run a capitalist education system, right? So I'm not saying we're not producing. I'm saying he said that we don't have enough talent. I didn't say shit. I'm saying
Well,
He
let me
didn't
ask you
say what
this.
he needed to say. Real quick, he didn't say what he needed to say. He needed to say China. It's not
say again.
competition around anyone else other than China. Quite frankly, the numbers are
And you
not
know
enough.
what?
China's producing
And
far
China
too many tech guys. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and China doesn't have to import Infinity H1Bs to remain competent. All right. So I don't think this is the answer to the problem that they're attempting to solve. They're solving a completely different problem and just telling us what they want us to hear, what we want to hear, basically.
I understand
I
that
don't I don't
argument,
I
but
don't feel I don't
here's
feel like my question
go
got
ahead.
answered though. But go ahead. Continue, y'all. I'm listening.
Maybe,
Yeah, but no. So
maybe
go ahead.
Marcus, the more appropriate question to ask is: are we seeing the ravages of a liberal democratic ran school system? The fact that these people aren't being turned out because these schools are basically idiot factories now.
I mean, I'm willing to accept that, but again, like it's like what somebody said in there. Yeah, like you know, it begins in the beginning. Like let me bring it on the screen. Said it's a STEM guy isn't produced at the university level at the beginning. It begins in childhood. And I agree with that. Do you now? Let me ask you this: how much of that do you think is America stifling itself because it doesn't want to see certain demographics rise to that level?
That's part of it too. When it comes, yeah, that's definitely part of it. But even in some of the more affluent school districts, like I know you're not from Chicago, but like Fremd and Conant, places like that, these schools, even in some of the nicer areas, are still, at the end of the day, idiot factories. They are. They are just fashion shows. They go there and teach them about gender politics and all of the weird alternative lifestyle stuff. They are simply not teaching them that much anymore. Hell, I had a niece that didn't even know what the hell the 13th Amendment was. That's college age. Not my other niece would, but yeah, she didn't even know what it was. Fresh out of high school,
Even
didn't even know.
even if I concede that, what I would ask is, our best and brightest, what do they say? Okay, fine. When we put a microphone in front of the white boys' faces, what do they say they're going to school for? Is it not finance? Is it not finance? Okay then. So you're competing against China. China has the economy to be right on our ass with their GDP. They're not, because they're not over financializing themselves. Your best and brightest are going into Wall Street to create complex financial instruments to make money, to pull off Bernie Madoffs. That's what your best and brightest are doing. They're not getting into tech because it's not guaranteed. They're not going to gamble to be your next Elon Musk or your next PayPal mafia. They would much rather go into finance, create some BS financial instrument and run out the back door with $100 million in their pocket. I'll pause right there.
Saul, I want to bring Leon up for a second. I'm gonna put you in the back. Don't go anywhere. Stick around.
Mind if I throw my point out there before I
Absolutely. No, I don't mind.
I get booted off, man. You did me Showtime at the Apollo style, man.
I gotta balance the conversation here, man. I gotta balance it. Right now, it's like four right wing. Well, it's three right wing dudes there.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so let's consider the 1890 program that was not slashed by Trump. It was under review with Doge and actually brought back. So there's been high investment in some of the gems of engineering and technology when it comes to the HBCUs, such as North Carolina A&T, FAMU, and a few others or whatnot. So 1890 program, which does focus on agribusiness, but all of the new stuff that's going on with technology like AI, the use of drones, so forth, there's still some ancillary, if not direct, benefit. But yeah, throw me in the back.
Yeah, don't go nowhere. I'm gonna just be swapping y'all out. So
okay, cool.
I'm gonna swap y'all. I'm gonna toggle, right? So I'll be swapping him down and bring. You know what I'm saying. So let me drop you down real quick, and I'm gonna add Leon. Leon, what's up, man?
I wanted to touch the India topic. There's nothing special about India or the Indians that come in. The reason that they were selected because they are neighbors of Japan and China. So by way of making them promises to advance their society, and the idea that they think that they're going to put agriculture secondary to engineering and accelerating the environment that they live in, advancing it. That's what America has promised them for the last 30 years. So what they do is put those people in CEO positions. They invest in those people, and it's a bigger plan. If you look at where China is, if you think about Y2K, when Y2K happened, they sent that project to India for them to fix it. So basically, you have Japan, you got South Korea, and you have India, which surrounds China. This is all that's about why they get CEO positions, why they get these educations, why they invest in certain cast of individuals. So when they come over here, they can accelerate faster than most people. It's like they could have picked Canada, Europe, other places to fix Y2K or give them these projects so they can learn engineering, but simultaneously they don't give them the energy to actually manufacture at the rate that China can or any other country can. They purposely do this, okay? And so when you ask where all these people come from, they're put in position purposely. It's not even about you. It's about China and it's about Russia. It's not about the American person, why they give those people those positions or why they're in the tech field. Guess what? Even with them being in the tech field, they can't produce any tech in their country because they don't have the energy to do it. They want to make cultivating vegetables and agriculture secondary, and basically America dangles that advancement right in their face every single day and say, hey, we got you in CEO positions, we got you here, we got you. It's just positionality. It's to make a wall around China. That's all that shit is about. To circle China. So when you talk about South Koreans and all this kind of stuff, you have to remember. That's why I kind of want Mr. Z to talk to my friend Steve, because he's the one that directed me towards this information. His parents are doctors. Both of them are doctors. His aunt is a doctor. The other one is this position. They all came from South Korea. And when you actually look at why they assimilate these people, you clearly see a nice big wall around China. And on the topic of skilled labor and all these tech and nuclear plants and all of that shit, They took that away from college. So if you're not going to MIT or these special colleges, you're not going to get those type of positions. And we have to remember, they took away those type of skills for a reason. And y'all think that we can develop these people? No, you can't, because everyone that has these particular skills are young boomers, a small tiny percent of Gen X, but the majority of boomers have the skills and they're on their way to retirement, or they're already retired, that have all the skills that you need to learn. Gen X don't have those skills. Gen X are bankers, just like Mr. Z said. White boys go in the field of banking because that's their best chance of making $250K or $1 million gazillion dollars, making some software to rip $2.99 from your pocket every week for not watching ads or some shit. That's their ideas. Okay.
Yo,
so
let me read this super chat real quick. So Zion says, I don't know about
Okay.
y'all, but I'd rather talk to Abu than Keisha on the phone when I call about fraud on my credit card. Shit. Thank you for the super chat, man.
Leon has a point with what he was saying. There's actually been a conversation that's been brewing about whether Japan should remilitarize for the U.S., not for themselves, but for the U.S., for that encircling of China. And tying that to what Leon is saying, the U.S. has made promises. And if you notice the relationship between Trump and Moody, it's pretty cozy because it is about encircling China. Because India actually, they do fight over that Himalayan border all the time, beating each other up with clubs and bats and whatnot, literally, makeshift, weapons. So Leon does have a point about encircling Russia and what India stands to lose or gain as China, expands, and there's an argument to be made also whether they will, follow the European model and expand beyond their borders. But, I'll pause right there.
I'm going to give the mic to Maggie. She hasn't spoken in a while.
Well, hi. I've just been listening. I also heard Trump make that statement, and he was specific to say that Americans don't have the talent. And I
Right.
think that's a little bit different nuance than they don't have the education. But, I also want to point out that, there was a point in time years and years ago where Trump said, if he was going to run for president, he'd run as a Republican because he thought Republicans were dumb. Like that was his statements. So I think sometimes what this seems reminiscent to me is that sort of rich person, elitist kind of, I get to decide who's talented or not, when there's a lot of people in this country from a lot of different backgrounds, and obviously people have innate skills and talent. So to say in the entirety of the country, there's no talent, and so they have to bring in, and he was specifically talking about India when he said that they have to bring in tech people from India. First of all, it didn't sound America first. And secondly, we all know that that's not true. Obviously, there are people here in this country that have skills and abilities. So, just personally, I disagreed. But what I do agree with is that India and that entire gateway there has always been of utmost interest. And so I think there's always going to be something brewing, whether it's a Democrat or Republican in office. There's always going to be something brewing with that because China.
Let
So
me ask
let me say
everybody
this.
on the panel this. My bad.
I'm gonna say this real quick. I don't think
Mhm.
talent and education are the same thing. But are we gonna lend Trump that nuance? In other words, sometimes people say something when they really mean something else, right? So, and I'm these are questions I'm asking, right?
We
So
also don't want to offer him the excuse that he didn't ask for. He didn't come out and clarify, and he got a lot of pushback. So we don't want to give him the excuse that he never asked for.
understood. But I'm just saying, when I say that, what I'm saying is this. I'm with you. I think that there are people here in this country that if they could learn, because I mean, yeah, you can have talent, but you need to know. I mean, you need education with it, right? So I'm just saying, like, you know, I think there are people that might be inclined for some of this stuff, but we'll never know who a lot of these people are,
Why
and that's
why is all of the Indian tech genius happening outside of India, bro? Like I just refuse to play this
It's
game. This is silly.
it's not. It's manufactured. It's manufactured. Like I said, India fixed Y2K. We could have gave that project to Canada, any country in Europe, but they were trying to form a line around China. So we keep on giving India, and they don't talk loud about it, but a lot of South Koreans have positions. They keep on giving these people the education and the positions, not because it's cheaper, because long term, it's the battle against China and Russia. You have to form a wall. That's what this is about. So what it does is soon as you bring a person to the West and they have kids and you start comparing the lifestyle, what it produces is a brain drain on their society because it sucks out all of their talent, plus it sucks out the branches in your family trees to uphold a family. So when you look at South Korea, their family structure has been totally destroyed because so many people come to America. So when you look at Puerto Rico, all the educated Puerto Ricans, which is the easiest example, are here in America. They want to
In
go
New
back to
York and in
Puerto Rico,
Miami.
but the standard of living and the income isn't the same. So they rather just buy a house and go visit family. You do a brain drain and take the talented people so the culture doesn't advance.
all right. So what I'm gonna do, stay. I'm gonna bring Saul up for a second, let him speak on this. Hold on 1 second, Leon. I'm gonna drop you down for a second, swap you in, swap you out. Saul, what's up?
Oh, what's up, man? I was away for a second, but while you were, what's going on?
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna ask you to speak on this topic. If you didn't want to, I could move to Tito or
Okay,
Hood.
what was the premise? If it's okay, if it's
Oh man, I might have to, I might have to bring you in on another one.
okay.
Because
I'm sorry.
it would take a long time for me to explain what you might have missed.
Okay,
Hey,
So
Marcus,
yeah,
before you get into the next topic, unfortunately, I have to drop down.
right.
And this would also give a space for Nameless, which would be great.
Is Nameless still busy?
I haven't heard from him. I haven't looked in the chat, but I just want to make sure he has a spot. And since I've got to drop down,
Right.
I
So
will
it'll be
definitely get it.
right. It'll be either Nameless or Ty City. Ty City is
Okay.
roaming in chat. Yeah. We need
Okay.
yeah, somebody to,
It was good
but I
talking to you,
appreciate
Maggie.
yeah, I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
for coming in here. You know what I'm saying? Nameless says he's on his way home.
Okay.
Ty, if you're free, man, gonna bring you up.
Thank you, Marcus, for having me on. And thank you, gentlemen, for being so kind.
Thank you.
Bye.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
All right, no doubt. So we got a spot, like I said, right now. All right, well, at the moment, I'll bring up Leon again, but right now, Nameless is on the way home, and Ty, we have an opening for you. If you want to jump up here and say some of the things that you're typing, that's if you're available to do that. Right now, I'm gonna hear from Tito and then Conservative.
Well, the question of about encircling China, I mean, yeah, that could be said, but really, this is what you're seeing metastasized right now, it's really a problem of private equity. The last great like triumph for the worker, if you will, at the beginning of the 20th century was antitrust laws. And I think it might be high time to have another legislative bout for the reining in of private equity. Private equity has left this country damn near a dried out husk. If it wasn't for private equity, we wouldn't even be having this discussion, because the means of production would still be here. So it would be necessary to have all of those engineers and other skilled people and tech people around. But because everything's been taken elsewhere, then those skills are also cultivated elsewhere. It's private equity, man. That's what's fucking everything up.
So Relevant to Kill says, India does not produce the best techies. India has a lot of corruption of people buying phony degrees, stealing resumes from more accomplished people, and there are just better countries. Who wants to respond to this?
I mean, that's along the line of the type of criticisms I make. All of the economic and global strategic arguments still stand. However, I do think there's a more cultural and there's an ethnic and cultural dynamic I think we don't really like to examine, because the white people get called racist, and then if you're black, you're supposed to be on whatever this team is, and I think it's just obvious that like not every culture is going to operate the way we operate within our Western norms. And so a lot of these other groups, they come over here and they don't see just a fair system right for fair play. They see suckers to take advantage of. And they operate like that. And so whether it's, the H-1B thing, or I've been covering the Somali thing in Minnesota. I'm going to probably take another run at that when I get back home tomorrow. Like a lot of these other cultures, they look at our fair system, so to speak, and they just see it as a cow to milk, whereas the average American doesn't necessarily look at it that way. And so these groups come over here, and because of this whole liberal concept of, we're all equal and we're all the same, we're supposed to look at these other groups of people as if they are well-intentioned and they are completely non-hostile. And that's just not true. They don't. I wouldn't speak to intention, but I think just looking at the record, you have to treat this as a hostile group of people who want the things that you and your children should have.
I honestly think, and I'm gonna say this real quick, and then we got Ty City in the back, so I'm gonna need a spot. I'm gonna say this. I just think that overall,
take me down.
I just think that overall it would benefit us, no matter how long the process took, to breed our own talent here. You know what I mean? To say, oh, we don't have enough talent. I mean, it's just crazy. He did say it, and in a second I'll ask, well, why do you think he would say something like that if the purpose wasn't to do exactly that? Ty City is here, and I'm gonna let him respond to some of this stuff.
I'm coming through clear?
Crystal.
Okay. Let me respond to what Tito just said about the antitrust situation, bringing the legislation. That ship has sailed. It's gone. Well, the amount of money that they pushing through the government right now, through not even lobbies no more, just individuals got billions of dollars to where they even group up with themselves to put hundreds of millions of dollars together.
Super PACs.
Which again is like the ironic part is they got most of it from government contracts. And I mean, they got the influence. Something like that going to have to come from the grassroots. And man, you got Elon damn near about to get handed $1 trillion by himself. Like there is no fundraising where you just going to catch up and have more influence like that's over with. The other thing I wanted to say was about the reason why they advocate for a foreign workforce is because I agree with what Tito said about capitalism done wrung America dry. And so they're going to expand.
Not capitalism. Wait, not capitalism, private equity. You
okay,
I have never seen real capitalism.
Okay, private equity has run America dry, and they are going to push for building, for expanding capitalism out. Because again, Elon just don't want to sell what he's selling to America. They're going to make a push for Africa, Asia, India, because they got to expand it. They have to.
Okay.
One more thing.
Something. Okay.
One more thing I wanted to add was with the education and not having the talent, they could have just revamped the Department of Labor. They could have revamped the Department of Education. They had, you know what I'm saying? They could have easily just did that. You know, the same amount of money that they put in towards other things, they could have did that.
That's something that when that happened, I asked the same question. I'm like, why get rid of it? Why
Israel,
not revamp?
They bypassed Congress to give Israel $4 billion. You don't think they could have put that into the you know what I'm saying, to revamping the Department of Labor and Department of Education?
Yeah, I'm glad.
The Department of Education is a different thing, though. I think he got rid of the Department of Education because that's effectively like paying for your enemies to, train and organize on your payroll. Because the Department of Education is an incredibly liberal, progressive body by itself. Like, name a teacher that's right wing. It's hard to come across a couple of those people.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
I think Trump saw that as just a political thing.
Right. But saying that you can't. But what I'm saying is, to cop out and say that we got to get rid of it, and the solution is, because that's the thing is, where are the solutions to help the Americans become the labor force?
Thank you.
It's, you know what I'm saying, 600,000 Chinese students, is 700,000+ H-1B visas. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, they're just like, and yeah, y'all just too dumb. The end. Sorry, we bringing Indians in.
So, Hood, you think, based on what you described, was his reasons? Again, this is, to me, like, stuff like that holds the country back, right? So I understand, they're liberals and all of this shit, but at the end of the day, if you want to compete,
have they been educating the kids yet?
Hold on, bro. As opposed, fix what you think is wrong with it, as opposed to getting rid of it. Is my point. So I understand what you're saying. Trust me, I do.
Hey, but one more thing.
What's up?
One more thing to what Hood said about white people doing white people. This is clearly white people not looking out for white people. Like that. This is clearly 100% them looking in the camera and saying, Mr. and Mrs. America, you are too dumb.
But I want to emphasize this because there was something Hood said earlier, and it spoke to the supposed benevolence of these white folks and how essentially these South Asians are coming and they playing the game. Yeah, they're playing the game the way the white folks told them to play the game. Who better to show you that than Nikki Haley or Bobby Jindal or Vivek Ramaswamy or Sagar Enjeti? There's no benevolence, and they know it. They know the game. It's not. Real quick, let me land with this. It's not the benevolence of white folks, and then these hapless Indians are just looking for money, and they're other way around. I said that backwards. It's not benevolent white folks that are being played by these schemy ass South Asians. It's both of them playing each other. If you're gonna bring me into the country for, number one, to tie you closer to India, to encircle China, number one. Number two, cheaper labor. Number three, because I will have some type of reverence for you as a white person who brought me into the country, and then I turn around and become CEO of Google, right? If that's the game we're playing, then on the other end, I get to chip off. some of that prestige, some of that money. So they both playing each other. It's not just benevolent white folks, and the Indians are some skinny ass people. They playing the game the way. That's why you have, and I mention this all the time, the Mindy Kalings of the world with her insatiable inferiority complex that everybody could see. They're playing each other. It's not benevolent white folks and the Indians are scheming. No, the white folks are scheming too. That's why they hiring them and not your ass. And I'm pausing right
Man,
there.
these
So,
people.
so
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead. No. I want you to respond. No, Ty, I want you to respond because then I'm gonna ask another question. But I want you to respond. I want you to forget what you got to say.
Well, let Tito go ahead because he looked like he was finna go in before I went in last time. So
Tito.
Yeah. The question of race and all of that, we all know that it's basically often iterated pattern of hiring practices here in America to disenfranchise black people in any way possible. But this is mostly done at the hands of liberals because the whole Democratic Party is about rising to power on the shoulders of black people. Before they did it in slavery, and then post Reconstruction, they lost black people for a while, and then they slowly started to, as somebody pointed out in the comment section earlier, they slowly started to bring a lot of these Afro-Caribbean people who have been infiltrated by Marxists and everything, and some actually even educated in East Germany, started to bring them here. And then they slowly inculcated so-called black people into this Marxist culture, and the existing black communists that were already here were basically folded into the Democratic Party, after the 60s. So this question, this race question is primarily fueled by disparate hiring practices that we have here, not it coupled with private equity. But for people who say that capitalism should go, like, I mean, bruh, we've never, I've read about capitalism in theory ad nauseum, but we've never seen real capitalism. You saw the big three, well, the big two, because Ford didn't take it. You saw the big two get a bailout. You saw Goldman Sachs get a bailout. You saw legislation put in that doesn't allow automakers to sell cars factory direct to people to keep the dealership system going. None of us knows what real capitalism is. We know as much about capitalism as a fourth grader know about pussy.
Well, see that go to my point, whereas the people who
in other words, the fourth grader only sees it in books. Now land my plane now.
But Tito, what about if capitalism is what we're seeing now?
Time out. So this goes to my point. What I was saying is the people that's pretty much done got the most influence with buying people off, they got their money from government contracts. They came up off of government policies. They influencing new government policies. So that's what I was saying earlier about the.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me? It kind of bored. What I was saying was, I agree.
No, I'm agreeing.
No, I agree. But this is what I'm saying is like the money, and again, this is going to go to the left-right paradigm. The money that Elon got through the Obama administration, he went and gave Trump $200 million of it you see what I'm saying, to get his shit off. So again, like even with the left-right paradigm, the vice president finna be ushered in is under Peter Thiel, a straight extreme leftist. You see what I'm saying? So that's how the money is flowing. It's not even flowing from left and right.
So let me ask, how much of this like politics shit do you think hurts the country and our ability to compete globally? Because like I think that there's a lot of either political back and forth or racial back and forth, shit that happens internally here that kind of handicaps, and I want to go around the panel, and Leon, I want to ask you also in a second, how much of that hurts us globally in competition wise? Let's start with Tito, and I'll do a
I don't think
clockwise.
I don't think it I don't think that it hurts us. I think that you know, what some people will call xenophobia, what some people will call nativism or extremism is just us realizing that all of this globalist shit doesn't really work. And people talk about elites looking out for elites. Yeah. I have a theory, and I've said it on my channel quite a few times. I think that we have two competing factions of the elites, and one competing faction is starting to lose out. And that competing faction is starting to lose out is on the as above, so below. Those people who wanted the lower levels of society to resemble the upper levels of society in practice and in spiritualism, right? But then you have the other more moderate, more conservative wing that would like us to, you know, to have free range slavery like we had before. And I think that that's the faction that's winning out, which is why you see, you know, so many populist governments. To a certain extent, it is, you could say, it's grassroots, like the AFD party in Germany, the conservatives that are in Australia. You could say that, but I think that it's really being driven by a different wing of the elites that are realizing how inefficient this liberalist globalist system was. And I'm really lamentful that Maggie left off of the panel, because I did definitely want to discuss the future of the 19th Amendment with her. You know, while we talking about suffrage, there'll be
another chance for that. Hood, how much do you think? Because earlier you said, you know, what he did with the the education situation was about politics, you know, right versus left. The question is, how much of that do you think hurts America's progress in the world? That's conservative.
Honestly, I don't
Tito,
think
read my comment.
I don't think it hurts all that much, because the current system wasn't going all that well anyways.
So let me move on to Ty. How much of this this, you know, partisan backbiting or racial backbiting shit in the country, right? Handicaps us globally, in your opinion?
Okay, so it definitely affect what I call grandpa grandkids. All right. It definitely affect them, because they still trying to operate on some old shit that's just not, it's just not conducive to even business. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's definitely like, it's affecting them the most. For the upper tier people, they don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? They don't care who it is. They'll take Indians, they'll take Chinese, they'll take whoever. They don't care who it is.
Whoever make them the money, right?
Right. But as far as globally, I mean, people all around the world been doing great things, bro. We have to compete globally. We have to. You know, so my thing is, when we get to this America only shit, and it's just like, we just going to be isolated from the rest of the world. It's going to be progressing into the future. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of shit ain't going to work.
Well, let me ask you this. How many how much American talent is taken by other countries?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm pretty sure, you know, so it's a lot of people who do, you know, saying remote work and work at other places, stuff like that.
Okay, so Saul,
I will say this. Let me say this real quick
what's
because
up?
somebody said it earlier and they brought up Operation Paperclip and the Indian and the Chinese people are specific, and if you're looking at why you will want certain people, you have to look at how their societies and stuff is running. So when you look at the surveillance state of China, you see what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't you bring in those? You're saying that group of people in?
You don't think China is pretty much isolated but does business with the world? I don't think that.
No. China is the trap house of the world.
No, okay. Explain what you mean by that, because I think I know what you mean by that, but I just want some clarification.
I mean, China is, the trap house. That's where everybody getting everything pretty much made there right now.
No, you get it made, but what I'm saying
is on a global scale, like when it comes to production and manufacturing, bro, like
right,
Vietnam is the closest next to them, and
okay, I just want you to understand that's not what I mean. Before I go into what I mean, let me read this super chat. Something that would benefit black men, I think benefit black men would one, gender segregated K-12, 2, combined pro trades, STEM grades 6 to 12, 3, at least 50-50 default custody, or better, boys to father to better the boys in industry. There might be some truth to this. Just understand that the objective of America is not to benefit black men. So these might sound like some nice ideas, but good luck with them. So, Todd, what I'm basically saying is, yeah, you can go get shit made in China, but that's what they're running. What I'm saying is they're not importing American talent to help them with that. That's what I'm saying. Like, nobody's saying, and nobody's looking at them as being isolated for not doing so. Nobody's saying, yo, we need some American talent to come help us manufacture shit for the world, right? But America it wants to import talent. At least that's what Trump said, right? I'm only going based on what he said, right? If it's not true, why would he say it, right? So what I'm saying is, it's the trap. See, they're the trap house of the world. I would say that they're more of the SoSci of the world. That's where the bricks are made, right? That's where the coke is grown and things of that nature for then everybody else to trap elsewhere. But nobody traps in China outside of the Chinese. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And this is when we start talking about like the global economic thing, is like where we play our part in America is pretty much just we trap our debt out to people. You see what I'm saying? Like we don't have a manufacturing, we do have a consumer based service economy, but what we produce for the world is just the US dollar, the liquidity to keep everything flowing.
But we owe money, right?
No, but Ties, there's something to consider. It's not just that. I would say we create the tech that then gets disseminated around the world for cheaper. It is a competition between China and the US, but most of your innovation is coming from the US.
Not necessarily. I would say yes, it is on that front, but it's not really. If you look at something like Google, they banned it in China. It's banned in China. Since a lot of our social media platforms, they don't even allow.
They have their own Chinese version.
And so when we start talking about, yes, I agree. The innovation is coming from America, but once you send it over to China, and guess what happens?
We know
they imitate and create their own.
Yeah, right. I mean, so they don't make their own shit. They never make their own shit. They just mimic what they see other people doing.
Right, but here's the thing, though. I mean, somebody thought it was still worth it to do that. Profit still override the risk.
Right, but listen. Okay, I hear you, Todd. But this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
And I think we kind of touched Hood. I don't know if you remember, we touched on this on the last panel that we did. If in fact the innovation is coming from here, that means somebody's talented here. You understand what I'm saying? And that means that the talent
talented for how much?
Well, again, that goes back to what Mr. Z said about they're looking for a cheaper labor force. So that means it ain't what he said it was.
Profit overrides race too.
I get it, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm not arguing with that. What I'm saying is, if we're here to compete, we're at a crossroads here. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's called late stage. That's what they call it.
I wanted to emphasize there was something that was said earlier that I don't want us to get too far from. The question you asked a couple minutes.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. Ask that question again, please, Marcus. Yeah. I wanted to go to that. Yeah.
Wasn't it on me, Marcus, or
which question is that?
The question you were asking about, being able to compete.
Right. If we, I feel that there are certain practices that take place in America, that keep us from competing on a global level. Right. Again, we talk about talent. There's obviously if we agree that the innovation is coming from here and then it goes overseas and gets bootlegged, what that means is there's somebody here that's talented. That means the talent exists. And the talent outside of the country mainly lies in the ability to duplicate or reverse engineer American shit.
That's changing though.
Talent. Yes.
So
that's not.
Yes.
We were just talking about this a minute ago. We have talent here. Like, we already produce and create stuff. And as far as like the H-1Bs, I think the vast majority of these people aren't working in the tech sector, bro. They're working in gas stations and motels.
So
still a job. It's still displacement. It's still displacement of an American job.
So it goes back
to, but it doesn't solve the talent problem, is what I'm talking about. These are not talented people.
Well, we obviously don't have it. See, again, there's some double speak happening here, man. There's some double speak happening. What I'm saying is, if that's the case, why would our American president say there's no talent here? Y'all some stupid motherfuckers. We got to bring some motherfuckers from over here. If it's not about those people are cheaper to hire.
So was it? So here's the thing.
We can't defend what he said. And
okay, so let me go on ahead. And I don't think I had the chance to at least contribute my portion, if I may, Marcus.
No, you may. That's what we're here for.
So here's the thing. Like, obviously he's hyperbolic and brash or whatever the case may be, because if that was the case, he wouldn't have, given as much money as he did, for, tech initiatives for the Black colleges, right? There's the other thing too. We're missing out on a huge talent pool that we're just ignoring, where we have the American military, where you have people who are, would you say, committed and have their allegiance to America. Now, there is going to be,
you're making my point now. I just wanted to let you know that.
Not necessarily. No.
You said we're ignoring talent.
No,
you said it.
No. I think you're taking me a little. We didn't bring it up as in here. We didn't bring it up here. Okay? As in homegrown talent. As in homegrown talent.
He's saying we're taking talent from overseas. It's not. I get what you're saying.
Let me finish my point in full, please.
I'm sorry, bro.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All
Continue.
right. So obviously, those people who are pipelined through the military will actually have allegiance to America and actually educational incentives along with the innovation here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, you're going to take some people overseas, almost like talent purging. I'm going to take the best of the best because I don't want this person to compete against me. Almost like the rap game or record labels and that sort of thing. I'm going to take a talented artist that, I'm going to compete against, and I'm going to shelve them because I'm afraid of their talents.
No, I'm confused now. Real quick, I got to ask you something. You're saying I want to take some talent so they don't. So you're saying that what America seeks to do is steal the guys who are stealing from us so they can't compete?
There's a multi-pronged approach. There's talent purging. There's there's also because a lot of those people who graduate from here, only about like 15% or so actually stay. And most of the ones that actually stay end up working for some sort of research think tank or universities and things like that, in which they have to get clearances and things like that. Now, every now and then you do have, you know, a few idiots, would you say, breaching clearances and things like that. I will concede to that. But for the most part, you know, there is, you know, the mechanism for homegrown talent here. There's a pipeline.
No, so again, if that's the case, why would the American president say there's not enough talent here? You guys are saying there is. No, hold on. Let me say this. What I'm hearing guys say is in contradiction to what that man said. Why am I losing people?
You want me to tell you?
Go ahead, man.
I'll tell you why. Because 730,000 H-1B visas, advocating for 600,000 Chinese students. There's no way around it. You might as well just say this what we own. Like, you might as well say we going for it. Like, it's no way around it. You can't. There is no excuse for it. You might as well just walk up to it and say what it is. That's all it was. That's all it was.
Yeah, y'all don't see, and I ain't talking about you, Ty. Y'all don't see the conflict here in what's being said. It's like on one end, y'all saying, yeah, we do got the talent. Most of the innovation comes.
But that's what I'm saying. How do you deny or how do you defend pushing for that much foreign labor? How do you do that?
You know, it's about, if we're talking about black and black only, you have about, you know, 2 million generally yearly that enroll nationwide.
You're not addressing what I'm asking though, bro.
That's to assume that all the Chinese students are all here for tech. That's to assume that they're all here for, like, you know,
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump could say whatever he want to say. He said some crazy stuff. I mean,
he used HBC. Hold on, he used HBC,
and putting money behind something is something different. You can say, when I could say it's raining outside and go outside with a damn, you know, beach hat on and shorts on because there's sun out. Like, people like
so
hold on. Because Trump literally said that we need the Chinese students to keep the HBCUs open.
Yeah, he did say that.
So he's full of shit.
Hold on. So when you say he's funding HBCUs and they do have money for HBCUs, and then he says we need these Chinese students to keep the HBCUs open, he's using
nice conjecture, but how many students?
No, that's what he said. That's not.
I didn't say whatever he wants to say, but statistically, how many?
No, he can't say whatever he wants to say.
Man, yikes!
Hold on. Let me jump in here right quick. When I started this,
can you get a clip of what he actually said? Because we don't even know what context it was in, or what field or endeavor he was talking about.
Somebody do that for me.
Well, that was
no problem. One of the wrenches. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes. Go ahead, Ty.
No, I'm just saying, because that was what was brought up to him was, why do we need this many foreign students? And he used HBCUs as an excuse.
Okay, and how many Chinese students are rushing to HBCUs?
But that's not okay. See, this is what I'm saying. That's
I'm just asking you. I'm just asking.
You got to understand. But the question was, why do we even need the Chinese students in the first place?
Same here.
I just laid it out. It's talent purging. It's a national security countermeasure.
Okay, so it's not.
I'd rather take somebody who could potentially work against me later off the board.
Bro, this that 4D chess, Trump playing 4D chess shit, man.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it might not be the answer you like, but it is a strategy.
No, but I mean, it's a response.
That's not the strategy that he said, though. That's not the strategy that he said.
But Ty, there's something to. Saul has a point here. I don't think y'all really appreciate the ideological war that's going on right now.
Oh my
It's
god.
Even if go ahead, go ahead.
no, but I'm not saying I'm in the country. I'm saying globally.
I get it.
The U.S. has a near peer competitor now that it hasn't had for 30 years, 30 some odd years, right?
I
With
get
the
it.
fall of the Soviet Union. So the going and getting these Chinese students, or not even going to get the Chinese students coming to the country, and you potentially flipping them to work for your institutions, to appreciate America and to want to stay here. I agree with Saul. That's another person you've taken off the board that could have went and created
Wow.
BYD in China. That there is a point there.
But if the hold on. Let me jump in here. If the innovations are happening here, so you're almost saying that some of the innovation is coming from over there. If you're worried about the best and the brightest over there creating shit over there, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if
remember earlier, I did say that though, Marcus. I did say it is slowly changing. The
Right.
innovation is happening here still. It's still by far, but
okay,
it is slowly changing. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
I got you. So you're saying that. I didn't hear anybody else say that. So basically, okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, if all the shit is coming from here, it's like 1 minute we got talent, then motherfuckers is too dumb, then we're creating the innovation and they biting, but now it's, oh, we're worried, so let's take the innovators from the East and bring them here. Like, it's a lot of. You understand? Do you understand the fucking game?
Marcus,
This is
I do understand what you're saying. I understand.
Marcus,
What it ends up, Ty, hold on, because I think you're going to say what I'm going to say. What it ends up is, nah, he ain't really mean that. What he meant was this, and no, that's not what he's trying to say. And he can say, no, he can't say whatever he wants. The motherfucker shit got to make sense, or we going to call the bullshit out. If it's bullshit, we going to call it bullshit, right?
Here's a question for y'all. This an answer to, and Todd, before you go, give me 20 seconds. Here's a question for everyone. How is that ballroom being paid for?
Donors?
It's not like I went left field. I really didn't go left field. How is that? Okay, then. How is this H-1B visa and the people that are advocating for bringing in these folks? How is that going? You want to know why Trump sounds so schizophrenic? Who's backing this?
Rich weirdos who don't care nothing about no race, none of that shit. They on top of money. This shit is straight power grab. That's all it is. And
I'm just saying that. So I agree with this part, Ty, and I'll pause right there.
These people are beyond the money part. Like, they beyond the money part. What we at now is the cheapest labor wins. It's been the same way in this country from the jump. Ain't nowhere around it. You can remix it. You can make a new recipe. The cheapest labor wins.
But then you'll have people that'll say, no, it ain't necessarily about that. It's about
bullshit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro,
but that's what I'm saying. It don't matter if you got the innovation, who you want to work, who you want to put it together. The cheapest labor. That shit ain't changed.
Right. Let me pull up. So Adrian has given us like somebody said, well, is there a link? Bring it up. We got it. So I'm trying to get it on the screen here. Let me click. Okay, so here we go. I press President Trump on H-1B visas. If you want to raise wages for America, you can't flood the country with thousands of foreign workers. POTUS, you have to bring in talent. You can't take people off the unemployment line and say, go make missiles. The debate continues. So let me see if I could bring audio in on
and put it on quarters 1.25 speed. That way go a little bit faster.
You don't have certain talents, and
let me know if y'all can hear this.
You can't take people off.
I'm good to go. I can hear it.
Like an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put.
How did we ever do it before?
Well, I'll give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing and very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people, early stages, to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
Okay, so
and let me
go ahead.
Wait a minute. Do y'all realize what he talking about is like the smallest fringe industrial skills?
That's not that. Just so you know,
about most regular jobs.
That's not the talking point.
That's the point.
And that's something that I was sent that link, but that's not the one I'm quoting, by the way. But
And
I
he
hear
was
I hear
wrong
you,
about
Tito.
the making
All right,
batteries part. Making batteries is not hard.
Yeah.
Making,
It's
but
not.
this what I'm saying about the HBCU, the HB, the H1Bs. It don't. That's what I'm saying. It don't matter. It's top to bottom. He's saying
Okay.
they need foreign labor to put missiles together.
Okay. I dropped
Not
the link
really.
in the back. It says the immigration advantage in the U.S. China STEM contest. They actually talks about this. It's a think tank, so they're actually competing. I actually just posted it there just so you know that what I just stated just didn't come out of thin air. But Nameless is in the back. I just wanted to give you a heads up about that too.
Yeah, I see him. I'm gonna have to make some room. Let me I'm gonna drop this down. And I was shot another link. I got a couple of links. Shout out to Mr. O for sending me the other link, right? So there's
And wait a minute. Are we having a substantive policy discussion, or are we just trying to get a shot in on Trump?
No. This was really about me saying I feel that some of the things that like some of the ways that we run the country, and this isn't necessarily about Trump. This is about how I feel about capitalism as it relates to education and getting some of our best and brightest people to compete globally. So now when we speak about this and we speak about how Trump will say, we need to import talent, right? It's not really me throwing shots at Trump per se, right? But I'm a whole motherfucker to what they say. I'm not of the belief that a motherfucker could just say some hyperbolic shit and we supposed to let it slide because he sometimes says hyperbolic shit. And
okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah, but his
did America
but
not benefit from Operation Paperclip?
You say what now?
It did.
Did America not benefit from Operation Paperclip?
So Trump defends enrolling Chinese students at U.S. universities, takes a swipe at France.
Respectfully, Marcus, did the United States during World War II not benefit
at the end?
Yeah, well, it wasn't. Well, yeah, did they not? Well, not quite at the end because there was the nuclear race. Of course, it wasn't quite at the end all the way. You know what I mean? But did America not benefit?
Man, we talking about the top 1% scientists. We ain't talking about hundreds of thousands of people in a labor force, though, bro. The Operation Paperclip was
okay. So
I mean,
there was hundreds and thousands of scientists too.
Really?
And intelligence operatives.
It wasn't just all the famous people you just heard. And then of course those communities that had those scientists there actually benefited too. And Operation Paperclip wasn't just in New Mexico. It was actually in the South.
Right. So again, they wasn't displacing the workforce.
No, not necessarily. There was businesses that sprung up, and there was, actually blacks who actually got into the defense sector as a result of that. So much so to the point that Truman had to integrate the workforce. What about that? I'm putting some points on the table.
No, I get it. I got those points. That's what I was saying about the Chinese students in the surveillance state and them having.
We have a bias of recency and real short-sightedness about how economies work. Right now, that was a military-industrial complex. What about this technological industrial complex that's about to go on?
But that's what I was saying about the Chinese students and China having
to kick it off. You purging talent. Okay. The talent is here. They're going to want to live. They're going to stay. They're going to eat. They're going to want to integrate into American society and stuff like that. There's direct economic benefit, and there's also indirect economic benefit, along with tax revenues.
So real quick, I want to address a few things. Number one, Adrian, you gotta. I put up a link that you posted that I played the video, so I don't know if you're talking about another video that you posted a link to. Secondly, Machismo TV said, Marcus, that's a straw man argument. You'd have to let me know which argument that I'm straw manning, right? So I can understand. But go ahead, y'all.
Don't you think that we probably turning this piece of crust out a little bit too far? In that clip, he's talking about the finite skill of South Korean people at a South Korean ran and administered factory making batteries for South Korean cars. So in other words, because of, maybe this was an unsophisticated way to say it, I don't know, but because of the end game of tariffs, a lot of these foreign businesses are forced to bring production here. Now, some of these car companies had already started doing it. It's been a Mercedes plant in Alabama for the longest, for like 30 years now. And they didn't even have tariffs back then. They did it just to reduce the shipping costs and be able to offer the vehicle in America at a lower cost, because you didn't have to pay shipping for it. But he's talking about South Korean people in a South Korean administered factory making South Korean batteries for South Korean cars. So in all of the other businesses that are forced because of tariffs to bring their production over here, then I would think that he means one of the things that he could possibly mean, because of the example that he used, is those people that are going to be using those skills in those arenas that have been brought over here because of tariffs.
Okay, let me say this.
I would think that it's a really niche skill to make South Korean batteries for South Korean cars.
Tito, I want to say this real quick. Again, this thing that I'm talking about, that was a link that I was sent by Adrian. So that's not what I'm speaking of. I'm speaking more in general, not necessarily to that example. Number two, hold on, Todd, 1 second. Number two, Saul, for a second, I got to bring Leon back up so he can speak on this. And thirdly,
do your thing. I'll be here.
What's his name is with us now, and he hasn't spoken yet. Nameless, and yeah, he's a member of the original panel so I have to bring him in at some point. Ty, I want you to say what's on your mind first. Go ahead.
Do your thing. I'll be on the six man on the bench.
So I agree with what Tito just said. There was an example of that in Georgia where the South Koreans were putting together a factory, and they put the factory together in a way that is unique to their skill set. And one of grandkids called ICE, and they raided that motherfucker.
Right, I heard about that.
So they went back, and they didn't want to come back to finish the damn factory, and they tried to get people from Britain to come over. And it was like, no, we ain't coming back.
The reason that she called ICE is because we can tolerate in the bad by the fact that the top technical staff there, since they are making batteries for automobiles, that we can tolerate the fact that the top technical staff there might be composed of South Korean workers. But then to have that place, to have that factory in Georgia, where you have scores of Americans who you ridicule calling granddaddy's grandkids, I don't know why, but you have scores of Americans that could use those jobs. The fact that they had the entry level workers, the fact that I'm not done talking. The fact that they had the entry level workers there as being foreign people is what's egregious enough to call ICE.
I agree with Tito.
When I say grandkids, I don't mean like just because they're American or whatever. I mean, it's a mindset to where the workers that was there were temporary. The workers that were there temporary. They were actually training Americans to do the job. They wasn't even here long term. They literally came over here to show Americans how to do it, and they got raided.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you
That's what
talking about
happened.
the South Korean nationals that got detained. I'm talking about the 500 some Mexican people that they had there. I'm not talking about
No,
the
no, no,
South
no, no.
Koreans. I'm talking
The
about
factory wasn't even
entry-level
open
workers
yet.
that was there.
The factory wasn't even open yet. Those people were there to set up a fact. They were starting the factory ain't even started. Those people were specialized in building the factories. They
Yeah.
was
You telling
that's
me
what they
all
were
of
there
them
for.
Mexican dudes with the yellow vest on that they hauled up out of there was specialized in building the factory.
They didn't haul
Yes.
them. I'm telling you right now, they didn't haul them people out. It was South Koreans.
So who was being trained? Was it Americans being trained?
Yes, and that was actually part of one of Trump's programs. That was actually one of his deals that he put together.
So then, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, and when I say grandpa grandkids, is racist white people or white nationalists who don't even have the wherewithal to understand what's going on before they just try to.
Can we fact check this? Anybody?
Yeah,
Can
you
we
can fact check it.
It's
No,
true.
I'm not disputing. I have to do that.
No, look it up.
You know what I mean?
Look it up.
All right.
Trump
So
actually, I think Trump and his administration was trying to get them to come back so they can finish.
It's a political show for white people, my guys.
So this is what I need you to do, Leon, because Nameless has not spoken yet.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it succinct, please.
I'm gonna keep it very succinct. Okay. I've talked to Mr. Z about our population numbers. And when you look into those population numbers, 15 to 20% of each generation is immigrants, children are immigrants. So for example, there's 73 million Gen X, but there's only really 63 million that are American. On top of that, we don't have the skills. When you think about putting stuff together, cool. But you don't have the skills to refine anything, to actually make the batteries. You don't have none of those skills at all. And when I say there's a large gap, the educated class are the silent generation and boomers. When you talk about predominantly having those skills, millennials don't have those skills as a group. It just is what it is. Yes, they can train you, but when you talk about actually globally producing while getting trained versus people that are running at 100 miles an hour, it's not realistic. So when it comes to the Chinese going to HBCUs, I understand this connects to Harvard and all of that. They want the elite whites and the bourgeois to continue going to Harvard and having that status. They don't want to assimilate other groups in Harvard in these major institutions. Yeah, you can still get garner the skills at these colleges, but we leaving this for us. Okay.
I just want to put this out there because the whether we have skills or not, even if we do have the skills and somebody else got the skills, the cheapest labor wins. They're going to go for the cheapest labor. I mean, we can say we don't have the labor, but the truth of the matter is, even if we did, they're going to choose profit.
Yeah, yes, I agree. I agree with that. But what I'm telling you is, regardless, even if you were to do it here, they would have to like drop the whole worth of the American dollar to a number that you're not going to feel comfortable living with. And at the same time, you're talking about 20 to 40 years to have the people with skills to build a nuclear plant, for example, while China's kicking out 50 of them a month.
Well, but that's because they didn't have the EPA and all the red.
We don't have the skills. We don't have the skills.
Nah, bro.
You can feel that way, but I can literally show you the math levels of the average American. You don't have the skills.
So now we back to we don't have the skills. Y'all realize
They don't. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not bothered by saying it. It's the truth.
Well, I just want to say this, man. When we talk about the advantage that China has had for the last 30, 40 years of not having EPA regulations and environmental controls and shit put on it, of course they gonna just have a dynamic manufacturing base, bro. Like,
why did we give them that? Why do we give them all that? Why do we give them the batteries? Why do we give them
why
production of that
do we?
technology?
Okay, so
Because
why
it
do
was
we have to
corrupting
have
our
all the red?
fucking water.
Why do we have to have all the red tape then? Why do we have
It's
to
a
have all
control.
the?
It's a control dynamic. So your average. It's the same reason you have regulations for building houses. So y'all have no opportunity to engage in doing it.
So let me.
It's just a wall in front of you saying no, you can't do it, and you say, oh well, I'm gonna go find something else to do.
I got to get nameless in here, man. So let me address a couple things. No placeholder says Chinese universities are taking over the top 30 schools. Local Chinese corporations stop prioritizing returning U.S. and EU graduates over locals. All right. Thank you for that super chat. So let me address something else that got said on here real quick before I bring in my man.
Hey, you could drop me down, bro. I'm gonna be listening in. I can come back later.
Well, Nameless is right next to you. I don't need a spot. It's up to you. You can sit right there. I don't.
All right, well, I'm chilling.
Yeah. So let me. So I think it was Rael. So Rael says, you can use skills to form your own entities like we have historically done. Even Malcolm said, instead of asking the job maker on what the fuck are we talking about here. I think that sounds great. I think it's in Rael, no disrespect, bro. None at all. I don't want you to take this disrespectful. It sounds very platitudinal, right? It's like saying, just create the industry. Like, sounds good, right? You don't just go create an industry. And mind you, historically, what's happened is we've been stopped from doing shit like that, right? In one way or another. Like, to create industries, to create direct to, you got direct to consumer shit, but like it's a lot of stuff that you just can't just wake up one day and say, yo, I'm gonna just do this. And you got billion-dollar companies competing with you for that thing. And even if they not in that business, they're gonna decide to get in that business if they think they could and grab that from you. It sounds good. Like if niggas could just wake up one day and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna sell weapons now. Like, it sounds great. Just and mind you, I know you're just, instead of making a job, asking for a job, make one. We're not talking about jobs. It's about industries. And making an industry is very much different than making a job, right? Again, no disrespect to you. Just I hear what you're saying. And I it's like Dame say, yo, everybody got to be a boss. Right? Just be a boss. So what I'm gonna do right now, and Machismo, I still need to understand when you said I was making a straw man. I'm just asking you. I don't want to argue with you, bro. I just want to know. I just want to know that what the argument you was challenging. We're gonna bring in Nameless. Nameless is here, and I want him to. I'm gonna give him time to address all of these things that he's been hearing. So go ahead, bro.
So I can only offer my subjective opinion on this. I don't have an answer to this, and I don't like looking at questions like this at this level. I prefer to go to a more systems approach as it relates to this, because the answer to this doesn't really apply to everybody. People are going to live and die and have absolutely nothing to do with this topic. But I want to remind people of one thing, and I'll offer something for people to consider. This is an industrial first world problem. Vietnam, China, and India, for a myriad of reasons, are the number one country everyone in the industrial first world is going to for STEM talent, period. Because fundamentally what we're talking about really is STEM. Number two, STEM is unique in that, unlike a lot of other positions, the demand for these positions is exceeding the actual positions that are available. Well, let me say that again. The growth of these positions and the available slots to fill is exceeding the rate at which people can graduate to fill them. So this is creating a global demand for these positions to be filled. And it's across the board. If you're an industrial first world country, you have a shortage in STEM. That includes places like Japan, we were just talking about. And as of earlier this year, they changed their entire immigration process to start making it a lot easier so they can get into the competitive market to get access to people coming out of China, Vietnam, and India. This is not just a US thing. This isn't even just an Anglo-spheric thing. This is a global shortage. Anybody that's using the dollar happens to have a shortage on tech. That's all I want to say on that part. And I would advise walking away from it only because there's so many other moving parts to it. There's even just a straight up, regardless of the unemployment rate, there's still, as of now, a US labor shortage across the board for everything, damn near everything. So you can have unemployment and shortage labors at the same time. So just because someone is using a term like a lack of talent, there's still a process that, and this is before the point Ty City made about, going for the lowest common denominator as far as paying your workforce versus the overhead, and then outsourcing your manufacturing bases in countries with lower overhead. That's something that the 1% of the 1% could do because of everything we've seen happen since 1907, 1913, and more recently with Citizens United, making it to where the people who set the rules for this get to set the laws for it too, because they can pay for the politicians that are going to go in there and vote to make that happen. So that's not a red or blue thing. That's not a conservative or a liberal thing. This is a 1% of the 1% thing that is global at the moment. That's what I'll say about that.
I was gonna thank you for that. I was gonna and I don't know if you're done, but I just want to toss this in. Earlier, I was gonna ask the panel, is there really a difference between the rich liberal and the rich conservative? Like, I'm talking about mega rich.
That's what you were getting to earlier, that me and Saul were trying to get you to circle back around to, if you can hear me well.
Okay,
Right?
now I can hear you perfectly.
So just quick fast. Trump said something in his first debate in 2016, if we all remember, or was that late 2015? I think it was 2016. And he said something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, where I donate to both parties because when I make a phone call, I need them to answer, right? He also said to Hillary Clinton with his debate with her that I follow the rules y'all set, essentially, right? What you saw in 2016, 2020, maybe not so much in 2024, were establishment versus anti-establishment candidates. Somewhat going to what Nameless was speaking to earlier. And the left shut down their anti-establishment candidate, even though he's been in politics for, like, I don't know, 50 years, 40 some odd years. Anyway, and the right somewhat tried to in the beginning, but failed at it. And you got Donald Trump. In other words, the release steam valve on the left, they shut that off. The right let it go. And you got Trump. And you got Trump again, right, in 2024. So what I would argue, and to answer your question more succinctly, I don't know if we're really living through a left-right paradigm right now, as much as we're living through a establishment versus anti-establishment paradigm, right? For what that means. And I'll pause right there.
My mic was muted. All right, so where I'm gonna go with this? I think that either Tito or Ty can jump in. But yeah, that's where I was getting to.
By the way, Marcus,
yeah.
I'm sorry for cutting you back off. When I say establishment, I mean a very established way of the left operating that we've known the left to operate, in a very established way of the right operating. What I'm saying is what's interesting about Trump is how he's weaving He's still on the right, but he's weaving on the right, right? And the left is having this conversation now where what could we leave that maybe the American people really ain't pushing? We was just doing it for the 2 and 3% of niche folks that wanted this one thing. And that's a conversation the left is having. So I once again I stand on it's really establishment versus anti-establishment that's going on right now. I don't know if it's so much a left-right paradigm. I think that's got blown apart really through Trump in 2016, and it got reiterated in 2024. And I'll pause right there.
Fam, no, okay, because we're gonna digress too much here. Understand that if you're in politics right now, you're establishment. Sorry. Your non-establishment is the 1% of the 1% we're talking about. If you've got a hallway and that hallway nobody's walking through because they want to go to a different one, because they want to appear as though they have agency to go somewhere, and you put a partition in that hallway and paint one side of it blue and the other side red, it's still the same thing. Everyone has a clause, and then they had to raise money. There's nobody we can talk about right now that's influencing policy that doesn't have the clause, and then you raise money. And the question becomes, if you've got Citizens United and they're able to, as we described, form these super PACs, that's the actual power you have to speak through first. And I think it was mentioned vicariously multiple times. Grassroots is dead. Grassroots is dead, and it's probably been dead for a long time. And whatever was left from that, we've got this Marxist versus anti-Marxist, which is what I would say is closer to what you're describing, Matt, because the conversation is about a model of redistribution versus accumulation. That's the philosophy being talked about. And all you got to do is trace the UN, how they've operated, the World Economic Forum, and how they've operated. You've got even the American colonial model, which is liberal democracy. It follows the same thing. You couldn't even get access to the dollar unless you followed some form of civil rights remix from Title VII to Title IX. There's so much American policy and people getting funded for stuff, for everything under the sun, which was contingent upon how much you agreed with that model. So that's why I wanted to dial that back and highlight some of these issues we're talking about are a legacy left over from liberal democracy that went global. The people who were tied into the dollar. And as it was mentioned earlier, U.S. debt was what we were selling in regards to that. And I want to make it clear with the second part, that matters for one reason and one reason only. The U.S. still has street cred here because it controls the logistics the moment you step out on that water.
That's facts. Let me ask you a question, Amos, because something you said, that argument about Marxist versus anti-Marxist and the distribution of wealth, where do you see that going? Because I do think it is that conversation going on.
Oh, that model. Well, what it's done, it's a dead end on both ends, because I don't think there's anywhere on the planet where there's only one or the other. Well, let me qualify that statement. I think what's happening now is there's people, because the left and the right are going so far left and right, the majority of people are now left in the center. But the problem is they're not grounded there from a political point of orientation. It's a liminal space, like a highway that people are setting up bodegas on, and it's leaving that 1% of the 1% to occupy it by way of opportunity. And I think that's going to lead to more autocratic government down the line. So you've got models that are already running in place where you've got locations like China that are super surveillance states. They're employing a lot of that. There are not a lot of places left that aren't selectively engaging in that in conjunction with a socialist model of having the government provide certain things for people. So this idea of the free market is really starting to become a big question mark outside of the central liminal spaces, which is why you get things like blockchain being introduced to a lot of these things. But then now you've got the counter push of that, where a lot of these countries are now trying to push stable coins. They're even trying to push a lot of that in the States now. I think Texas, I saw an advertisement for one in Texas not too long ago. So I think that's the direction we're kind of headed now as it relates to that. I don't know if it's too tied to the topic or if that answered your question directly, but this has
all
been
that's
push and
part
pull
of
for a while.
ID, your digital ID. It all intersects with all that.
So let me shout out to Rael. Me and Rael are having a conversation in the chat, right? Hey Ra, no disrespect, bro. I keep having to lead off with no disrespect. You're not educating me on business. I just want to say that first. You're not, and you know, mind you, I do enjoy the back and forth that we're having right now, but be easy on the tone where you think that you're like schooling me on business, because you're really not, right? I understand how that works is in terms of like taking people's money that they're gonna invest in what you're doing. And you know, you don't just, hey, you know, because people are talking about Shark Tank. A lot of people leave Shark Tank without taking shit. So yeah, money is green, but a lot of people walk off of Shark Tank without taking a dime because they're not being offered real deals. And they're called sharks for a reason. Not because they're there to be you know, to offer charity to people, but they're there to be in business. They want to own something that they want people to walk in there with a fantastic idea, right? No. He said I don't take different views of disrespect. That's not even what I'm talking about, right? But now we good though. What I'm saying is, what guys like Mark Cuban and types like him are there to do is to own enough of what people walking in there with to have some sort of leverage or control about it. Like let's keep it real. So you don't just think that, you know, hey, you got a great idea. All you got to do is, because if it was all you got to do, then everybody would do it. Right? So like these white men that are walking in to these places, you know, trying to get investors in on their shit, you know, the Zuckerbergs of the world or whoever, you know, if they got, I guess, the upper hand, then they can negotiate what they negotiate, right? But, you know, your black ass walk up in somewhere where people got some money, they not just happy to see you like, hey, we're just gonna give you some money for your great idea, and we don't want nothing, we just want you to win. And that's not how that shit works. And we know that historically, niggas will steal your shit. They'll take your fucking IP from you, right? They're looking to do that before they put any money in your hands at all. So all I'm saying is, like, when I hear people say, yo, because niggas don't understand business, all you got to do is start your own shit and this and that, you know, all that Sway versus Kanye shit from the show, like, do it yourself. And like, oh, that's all I got to do is just do it myself. So where's the money going to come from? Somebody just going to give me some money to be great. They don't want shit. They just want me to be great, and they're going to just give me all this money. It's way more nuanced than that, man. It's way more nuanced than that, to where it's like, yo, like, why ain't niggas doing this? It's so much to it. It'll take over the show. So I don't want to go deep into that. But again, I appreciate what we're doing here, but I'm just saying, like, you know, now we'll save it for another show, bro. I ain't running from this discussion. It actually is shit that I'm interested in talking about. I love talking about business, bro. But yeah, so I think where did we leave off? We left off basically talking about, you know, these guys that are basically, like you said, the 1%. At the end of the day, is like what you talk about.
The 1% of the 1%. Nameless makes it very clear.
Right. Yeah. They're what you know, they're financial Mandalorians, right? They're pretty much like, hey, look, I ain't got a dog in the fight that none of y'all motherfuckers is talking about. I don't care about none of that shit. Whatever makes me the money, I'm with it, right? So that's what it ends up being. So like, it goes back into the beginning when I originally asked the question, and the first response was, well, the labor's cheaper over there. No, it's not. Now we're circled back here. So it's like, okay, if it's about what saves money, then that means the thing that's being said is nonsense. We understand these guys are politicians, they're gonna lie. We understand how politics work, and that's again responding to Rael, what he said earlier. But we're just calling it what it is. Bullshit politics, right? This ain't an attack on Trump. It's basically me asking, well, why would he say that if that's the case? And we know, basically, I'm calling it out for what it is. It's hyperbolic. It's bullshit. He's full of shit. He's saying one thing, but then they're going a different way, which we follow the money. Follow the fucking money. At the end of the day,
Marcus, I actually was a little
Wait,
confused. What's your art? Go ahead, Notice.
I was saying that this is less about Trump's statement about there's no talent and more about an over paraphrasing and an oversimplification of the fact that there is a global shortage of STEM all over the industrial first world, to include the United States. But it's everywhere, fam. And not only that, the demand for the jobs is exceeding faster than they can graduate people. There's just not enough, to the point where the
it's like that pilot thing, right?
It's very similar to that, but the pilot thing's shutdown made that even worse. But that's a separate conversation. But it's just, again, due to the way they had these initiatives set up, the demand exceeds the available pool, and because STEM has such a bottleneck, there is a baseline aptitude. I don't even want to call it aptitude. It's just a graduation process, because it's enough to qualify for the school and then have the funding to get there. Then there's the graduation piece, because even if you go to STEM, if you go to college their graduation rate in most places is around 40, not even 50%. So like it's a lot to go from point A to point B as that relates. So it's easy to paraphrase it as this is not the talent there. The reality is the meta, the hustle, is get you the surplus of people that's from Vietnam, India, and China. And that's what people are doing. And that's everybody.
Nameless, I got to do this for Leon because I know he's punching air right now. Because I think this is what he was trying to speak to, but he couldn't get it out. Leon, am I making that up or?
Yeah, this is literally like what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start writing down my ideas so I can just straight up articulate them, and I'm gonna buy a mic like Nameless and shit.
No, you gotta deliver it like Nameless too. You gotta speak like you're in Zen mode.
So look, I want to speak to some Andre, and I think he was joking around with the back and forth that me and Rael was having. He said something to the effect of just start your own platform similar to YouTube and your own Cash App or pay for, or just start it, you know what I'm saying? And you know, right, just hey Tito, you remember Gen Z? Oh no, was it Gen X? Gen X, remember Gen X? Back in the day?
I remember that platform. Yeah.
When niggas got ran off the block, right? Niggas got ran off the block, right? To quote, a famous philosopher around these parts, you niggas got ran off the block. When niggas got ran off the block of YouTube, they got ran out of these YouTube streets. They started a platform called Generation X. You remember this shit? It was like a YouTube. You don't remember that? SWP was on there. It was a few dudes on there. Gen X. So they started.
I remember the website.
Right. So they started Gen X. When the last time somebody logged into Gen X? Anybody? Anybody?
I don't feel like making it more Gen X jokes than I've made already. But yeah.
I remember Gen X. Hey, just start it, man. If you build it, they will come, right?
I wanted to touch a small subject on institutions and Marxism. Marxism is an issue, but some of those things, like the communism ideas that we think our people got assimilated into, those are institutional through college and other things. We were communal people. That's why it was easy to add those things on and hand them to our people. We had capitalists, but when you look at our capitalists that owned oil or they created some invention, they built up their town with their people. We were communal people. When it comes to Marxism, anytime that you actually engage in talking about class, you're already stepping into Marxism. Just to let you know. Our institutions utilize certain key words that lead you down a pathway, whether it's equity, which the black feminists are trying to use right now. They're trying to push out that word. We've been noticing them push out equity word and equality
Pissed me
words.
off.
Yes. So when you look at the left, me and Z know if you take women out of the left in socialism and you have a room full of guys come up with how socialism will work,
You got reasonable, logical people.
reasonable, logical people. Soon as women enter that room, because I don't give a fuck about women talking about socialism if they didn't shit out 2.5 babies to start off with. Everything else y'all bitches talking about is fucking irrelevant if you don't have your 2.5 fucking babies. Bitch, figure it out. Save up your 401k. But
So
I'm
let me
just
ask you
saying,
this. What about the women who, you know, these are the masculine women who they can sit in the room and they can talk with men on some man, you know, on some logical rack. Because these women exist. They're not the women that we're looking to marry or fuck with, but those women that, you know, they can run Exxon or they can run the record label. You know, they could do all of this stuff. You know, they're damn near, you know, a man. They got a little short haircut and shit like that. Like, what about?
then they have the income into their later years. Straight up.
He's
Like
talking
what I'm saying is when I think about if you take women out of the room, because this is okay, the same people we call Marxists that are feminists are married. The majority of those high class ladies are married to multi-billionaire, millionaire, 500 trust fund, and they don't have the same name as their husband. Then you Google, then you find out, wow, she's married. Different last name husband. Because they don't want you to know that they're married to a conservative that's worth $50 million while preaching to your fucking little girls about being independent and shit. It's called class elimination and eliminating competition. At the end of the day, that's what they teach to eliminate female competition and to make sure they don't have more kids. They don't want competition. They guard their sons. All these feminists that write these fucking books that claim they're fucking Marxists all say, I raised my son to be a patriarch. They are eliminating competition at the end of the day.
So I want to no, go ahead, nameless, and then I want to address the comment that I have on the screen after you say what's on your mind. Go ahead.
All right. So, did you see the Frankfurt Report document I did, Leon?
I'm 25% through it.
Okay, I cover everything you're talking about there, fam. Mm-hmm. All I'm gonna tell you is the
you can ask Z. I've been said it 1,000,000 times to him.
Oh wait, I want to finish the point I'm making here because I don't want to. Because this is a topic that deserves its own discussion piece. I will just simply say that the conditions under which Marxism was created were the very same conditions you just finished describing, and they just got imported and used as the metaphorical, I'm gonna say, canon for political thought and ideology for a lot of bullshit reasons.
Yes.
And Tito touched on a lot of the trajectory that I cover in my report too, as to how it got there. And we can thank certain people for that. I'm not going to get into their names now because people sensitive about that. But that just became the basis behind which pretty much all of the political thought orients itself around. And what you get are people who are in this redistribution model and in those who believe otherwise. And there's people who believe that that is the modern, I'm going to call, political modality of being. And if you're not on that, you're, quote, not educated in politics to even have the conversation, end quote. So that's why so much of this stuff rhymes. And when you get into the way civil rights got hijacked later on, you know, it lends itself to having a class modality because it has the protected class. I call them pseudo classes. And that was a system that was intended for individuals classified as black, as we understand. And everybody and their grandma got to get into it thanks to, you know, them adding sex in the last hour. We've had that convo. But I definitely want to save that for a separate conversation because I know Hoodservative wanted to get on that conversation.
I really want to get on that too.
Yeah, and I think it's a conversation worth having in a much bigger context because it needs the justice that it deserves. because I really do believe this is the root of our issue specifically and in particular, especially when it gets to people who've immigrated here from other countries. And we can even break this all the way down to Marcus Garvey. It gets bad. It gets bad and ugly. But Marcus, go ahead to your comment there, because I don't want to keep this up too long.
Nah, you good. And you know, we still gotta we talk about this collab, but we need to get to it. Mr. Wise Guy 77, right? And this kind of addresses what was said earlier. He says, the other thing to note is that STEM requires some level of aptitude as well. How do you address the aptitude issue? And earlier we spoke about, you know, talent versus skill, right? And you know, I would say aptitude is talent based, right? I guess it's on some level, right? But okay, so do we? When he said, "How do you address the aptitude issue?" I don't know what he's speaking to necessarily, but do we think that there is enough aptitude here? And if there is, are we taking advantage of it? I think that.
Not for global competition, I would say.
If you've adopted this model of education, and the places that did, they paradoxically have a shortage. And you'll notice that the people who succeed in this education model bring a different model with them to compete, and they succeed. It's not just about the aptitude. It's about your trajectory. It's about being set up for some of these positions. It's about having the resources and the opportunity. These are systems at the end of the day, and they have a logistic structure tied to them. I'll use an anecdote, and this is where it's going to have to fall under my subjective opinion. Family thought I had a learning disorder coming up through the public education system. And then it wasn't until that I had certain people that insisted I test, that they put me on the gifted program. I topped 97th percentile in the freaking country. Public education system. And I was one step away from being put in the freaking learning disorder class. So there's a lot that's tied to that, you know. And then we learned later on that these schools, thanks to the Title VI or Title IV situation, the schools get money for having special ed teachers there, just from having them there. So they need to find justifications of putting people there. So who ends up being the likely individuals that end up in these classes? We're back again to what I said earlier. Well, some of them do, depending on where your district is at. I can tell you the way they got down in Northern Virginia, disproportionately, them folks was melanated in them special ed classes and given all kind of reasons to be there. And it was directly tied to the property tax situation. And they could use that to validate getting money from the federal government and then later on the state. And you could just see a difference just by going to another district. You go to Prince William County, it's one way. You go to Fairfax County, it's something completely different. But the real estate level's different there. So we're back again to the inconsistency here.
Yeah. Soon we're gonna start wrapping this up because it's approaching midnight on the East Coast. What's this guy's name? Sir Ism 510 asks me, is this a Manosphere channel? Well, depends.
Wait, Marcus, we had to talk about the bitches to let them make it known. We had to talk about the bitches, the B-dubs.
You got to say Godnocracy 5 times.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I wonder why the question comes up, is this a Manosphere channel? But, you know, because I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, I'm at odds at how to answer that sometimes, man. He said, so he says the Manosphere.
Look at his other comment. Look at his other comment.
Yeah, Manosphere is an online gang for lame nerds. What he said, how can control a batch?
You meant to say who can't. That's what you meant to say.
That's the propagandized vision that he's been given of the Manosphere.
Of course,
that's really not what it is.
This is why I did the interview with Tanya, because I wanted at least it was my desire to represent the shit correctly, right? Lame nerds who can't control a bitch. I mean, okay, I guess.
who can control the bitch?
now,
God damn it, you beat me to it. I swear to God, I was going to say that. Go ahead.
Who can control a bitch? I would love for him to
One
answer that. Who can control a bitch?
of the realest questions ever asked.
So Greg, it's for her master's. She wrote something for her master's. I don't know if it's her dissertation or what. It's not a stream. But I plan at some point to have her come here and have a discussion.
But
That's if she wants to
Mark,
do it, because she's never won a debate
Marcus,
with me in her life.
I kind of want
I
to tell
don't
him.
want us to go real quick. I just want to emphasize this.
Mhm.
The question that Tito asked, I really want to answer to that. I really want to answer to that. That's a real ass question. Go ahead.
What's that? What did he ask? Say it again.
Who can control a bitch? That's a real question.
Yeah, women
can?
are passive aggressive by nature, so who can control a bitch?
The state.
I thought, but see, this is the thing.
He said that he can. The guy that made the comment said I can.
Right. So
shout out to Minister Jap, man.
Would I be confused about? He said he hang around the Bay Area food, not a YouTube channel. Well, sir, you're doing exactly right now what you're saying you don't do. But I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna say this, right? I at times think I thought that the manosphere was being accused of trying to be like Mr. from The Color Purple and control bitches. Now niggas can't control bitches. I'm trying to understand because the logic moves around. You know what I'm saying? Like AI with the ball and shit, right? I don't think Sirism wants to come up. But you know, I just when dudes when dudes talk like that, man, they troll in the chat. They not trying to get on no microphones, man. But what I'm trying to understand is, if you're not, and I'm gonna say this real quick, if he's not, what did he say? He's in the Bay. He's not on YouTube. He said not. He hang around. He doesn't hang around YouTube channels. As far as I know, the way the algorithm works is that it sends you more of the shit that you're seeking to see on the internet. So the fact that you ended up here, a channel who, like, right now I got 66 people in here watching the live stream. I'm hardly the biggest nigga on YouTube. How did you arrive here? Is what would be my question. How did you find Keep It 100 if these aren't the types of channels that you check for? Because I guarantee you, YouTube is not recommending me to motherfuckers. I guarantee you this, right? So now that I understand why you asked this question, right? Now that I understand why you asked this question, I'm going to say, yes, this is a Manosphere channel, right? Now, if it was somebody else that asked that, I probably would give a different answer. But just because it's
Black
you,
Manosphere, Black Manosphere. Let's
Black
make sure we make the
Manosphere,
distinction.
absolutely, I appreciate that. So, and he's like, these simps. I would encourage you to surf my videos and find simp content. I would encourage you to do that. I am the host here. It's me. I'm Marcus. Just Keep One the channel. I'm the guy who's block you on. And what I'm saying to you, brother, is how did you come upon me? I can't even, like, I asked Chat GPT who's Marcus Keep It 100, and Chat GPT doesn't know. So how the fuck do you know?
Marcus, read Manosphere's comment. It says everything.
Is it how do you find the chat? Thank you. In Manosphere Hall of Fame. Go ahead. I'm listening.
It's probably Gabe A sitting behind the keyboard with the fucking light reflecting off his gums. That's probably how.
I want y'all to understand something else. And Tito, you know this to be true because we spoke on it. Do you know how long I said that you have to be a subscriber to this channel in order for you to speak in the chat? So, Sir Ism, how long have you been a subscriber to the Keep It 100 channel before you asked, is it a Manosphere channel? Because I set that pretty high. If you guys, when you come in and you first get here, you'll see that sometimes I'll set that shit for 5 hours and we're not even live for 5 hours. Right? So at the end of the day, I would think that you've been here before. You didn't trip and fall and land here. I would think that you've been here before. You know what it is here. You've heard me speak before. So you get the general energy, so you want attention, and you got it. Now, he said it's not gay. He cams up. It's a real person. He has a YouTube channel. So Sir Ism is is this the guy that be on the hood conservative shit sometimes? Is that him? Ism? He said he's like 60 and still think he's a Mac or a pimp. Cause I got a panel full of people right now. We've been here for 3 hours and my man has arrived to call us all lame simp niggas. Is this something we want to entertain at this point? Now, mind you, y'all know I am with this shit. Y'all know this. But like it's close to midnight on some Thriller shit, right?
Yeah.
Is this something we want to do right now? And now, mind you, if the general consensus of the chat is something we want to do, then we'll do it. But
I mean,
y'all know, listen, y'all know that I'll veer off course because we're here to do politics as usual, and that's not it, right? So I'm asking the audience, is this something that we want to do? Because if it's up to y'all, we'll do it. But if the Muggles is a thumbs down, I'm not invested. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I know, again, I'm with the shits. So to Ism, I'm gonna tell you this, Ism, you're a subscriber. I know it because you're talking to me, right? So you probably get notifications. The next time you get a notification, the next time your bell goes off, jump in here early enough and we can talk about how lame I am. I'll be happy to do it with you, bro.
Hey, I guarantee you he'll break them fish tank shoes trying to run up out of this motherfucker.
I mean, but we have to keep it real, guys. If you're a halfway healthy black guy that's 60, you're basically a king. You got like 5, 6 women. I'm from the DMV, so halfway healthy black men that are 60, and they got their third leg and everything. So I can understand why he's saying what he's saying, but it's whatever.
So this is what we're gonna do. So let me run around the panel. I'm gonna give y'all each 2 minutes to give y'all summaries of what we've been discussing here. I'm seeing people say let them up, let them up, let them up, and the let them ups are kind of like overriding the don't let them ups, right? Now, mind you, I'm gonna let you know early. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. I got a steak chilling in the kitchen, waiting for me to make it, right?
I'm jealous. Nameless, read the back chat.
I was literally reading it as soon as you said something.
So another thing is what is it? I'm gonna say and I wonder is this the same ism that sometimes Hood be on his streams, because then I kind of got an idea of who he is. Like he be having panels with bitches on it and type shit. Like I don't know, but let's start with Tito. Tito, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts as far as the political piece is that, like I said, I think that we are witnessing a conflict between two different wings of the elites. One that wanted what we would call chaos and anarchy, but basically to make the lower half of society reflect the top half of society. And then we have the other more moderate wing, some people say conservative, that wants to go back to free range slavery. And you're going to see how the rolling back of women's rights and a lot of shit is going to play right into that, because they are starting to realize that in terms of human capital, this prescribed liberal system that we've been experimenting with for the past 70 years is just it's inefficient and it's not working. it was way more efficient before. It was way more efficient before, but you'll see how everything I'm saying is gonna play out in the news as you move into all of these months. And I'm still kind of reticent that Maggie left there early because I also wanted to, when she talked about the products of these fundamentalist schools, I wanted to talk about the products of these liberalist schools that are that have plunged our country into an administrative civil war and probably pretty soon a shooting civil war. But that's my summary.
Mr. Z.
Damn it, Mark. Give me a second. I'm shooting. Give me 1 second.
All right, so I'm gonna go to Leon.
I think when we focus on institutions and Marxism, communism, capitalism, this is basically looking backwards and trying to solve problems continuously while the people continue to accelerate with their AI and everything else. You can't solve Marxism. Why? Because just like any fucking hierarchy, they're handing down money. Guess what? Black Lives Matter, a whole lot of Marxism that a whole bunch of white liberals and conservatives gave money to, and you couldn't do nothing about it. It's a waste of energy to sit down and try to battle that. Same thing with capitalism, because they're accelerating farther and farther away from you, making you irrelevant. When you talk about nationalism or you talk about communism, Marxism, oh, guess what? Those people were the beneficiaries of it, not everybody. I think that's what people fail to understand. Like, I don't care how the elite distributes money to the wealthy people, if they're in the government or outside the government. What's the difference, really? What's the difference at the end of the day? There's no difference. It's just words. And like I said, it took 100 million people dying for both ideas of communism or Marxism and nationalism and capitalism. Who cares? You're not the beneficiary of it. You're just living in it.
Right.
It's fucking waste of time.
I'm ready for my answer now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready. Thanks for having me up, Marcus. It was a good panel. I know I came in late, but I listened to it at 3 times speed, so I caught up. Emphasizing what Leon said, we have to remember that Marx is a response to Marx was a philosopher. So was Adam Smith, by the way. A lot of people don't know that. Adam Smith was a philosopher. Marx was a philosopher. Marx is a response to capitalism. I'm not a Marxist because I don't believe in some philosopher key. So that's out the window. I don't think that any one man should have that type of power. Shout out to Kanye West. So Leon is correct about you're always going to have Marx will always be with you as long as you have capitalism because it's a response to the excesses of capitalism. Now, is it an inadequate response? That's a whole different debate and conversation. That's number one. Number two, the conversation that I think we had tonight was productive. It also shows that the Black Manosphere is multifaceted. Shout out to Charles Faulkner, because we can have these different conversations. It's not always some he-man, woman-hater conversation, as I'm pretty sure Tanya TKO was trying to lead you in that direction of, right? So I'm gonna love to see that. I don't know. Did y'all do was it a typed interview or is it? Can I listen to it?
She used a transcriber, but I don't know if she's gonna make that public.
I would love to.
Right, I don't know. So just so you got, I mean, I know Tanya a long time, man. So we'll see what she ends up doing with that. So
to end out, the left-right paradigm, I think it's you're always going to have folks a little bit more left-leaning or right-leaning. How we define it currently, I do think some of that is being scrambled, right? Because you have folks that are culturally leftist or better yet economic leftists, but they don't agree with some of where the culture is right now. And as me and Leon kind of spoke to earlier, the hijacking of legitimate gripes and issues, specifically concerning ADOS, but how that was then taken and kind of divvied out to these other groups And then that is what's called left advocacy now. They're not debating the money, by the way. It's a handful of us that's quote unquote on the left that's actually having the money conversation. I would argue, and I don't know how much Leon would agree with me on this, that much of the left is having the cultural argument. And that's why you would have brothers on the right that get their the boxers in a bunch
Can
because
I
you don't
answer
have
that?
I'm gonna land in 10 seconds and I'm gonna shut up. You don't have sensible men, emphasis on the men, having the
Mhm.
conversation about that wealth distribution that Nameless was speaking about earlier. We're not in the room. It's not us in the room. It's the weirdos in the room. And I'll pause right
Hold on, before you jump in, right? So let me say this to Sir Ism. Ism, I was trying to wrap up the conversation we were already having. Me and there's 6 people up here, right? So I mean, you can chill, or we can table it for next time. Again, that conversation we can have anytime. Shout out to AM1, he just jumped up in here. So Ism, I'm just letting these guys make their closing statements. Again, we was about to get up out of here. You would be overtime. So we could do it or don't, right? Just understand that again, you're a subscriber. I know it because you're typing to me. So if whatever we don't do tonight, bro, we can do another time. But what you're not going to do is tell me that I'm gonna pause my discussion that was already in progress to bring you up here to tell us how lame we are. So I just want to be and one more thing. I don't even know that I disagree with everything that you might say. And these niggas will tell you. Because I do think that there's a lot of corny shit that takes place here. And I say it all the time. Right? So don't expect me and old boy to bump heads because I don't know where he coming from with it. He's saying, oh, the manosphere is a bunch of lame niggas that can't control women. Listen, are there some niggas in here that are lame and can't control women? Maybe. But
Takes too much energy.
yeah, at any rate, I'm gonna the show is called Politics as Usual. And sometimes we have a bad habit of going off on tangential like bullshit. So we're gonna finish what we came here to do. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so Leon, let's
Yeah, I might answer that.
right.
I'm gonna try to keep it short. So, like I say, every time some white feminist or black feminist pulls up and you don't know anything about her, Claudia Gay. I told Z, I said, hey, check out Claudia Gay. She's married to a white guy. Nobody knew she
By
was
the way,
married.
that's the president of Harvard that got kicked out.
Yes. When you look at the lady that was dissing one of the ladies and you talk to her, Z, she was a college professor or high up that wrote the article about that one light skinned girl that y'all talked to.
Mm.
She was married. All these people in these institutions are married. And when Z says it's this culture war, I understand. It's only a fucking culture war in the institution because the group of the people they're in multi-layered unions, guaranteed fucking jobs. They don't even understand unions outside of the framing of a university system. They don't understand capitalist unions. They understand institutional unions because they're paid by the same 1% that pushes capitalism, Marxism, nationalism, it's bullshit. Like all that is to have you look at the person right across from you and argue why their families keep on profiting, having more kids and more wealth. While y'all try to determine your own, how your institution should fucking work. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. That's what
So
I'm
let
saying.
me
If women weren't in the room when you were trying to come up with a socialist idea, it'd be a totally different socialist idea, progressive idea. They do this shit on purpose. It's manufactured like this on purpose.
let me move to Nameless. Nameless, your thoughts, man.
I don't want to discount Marxism. And there's a reason why I keep saying I want to wait and have the conversation, because you can't discredit it and lump it up with the capitalist versus socialist conversation, because those two things are nothing more than philosophies about how to address money. And there is no relevant country that exists right now that I can actually find that made any relevance in history that wasn't a mixed economy. That's just the facts. Marxism is important not just because of its redistribution argument, but because of the promise of revolution that it has. And the fact that when the modern political thinking was applied, it was happening at a time period where it was a convenient tool that got debunked and then reintroduced as a mechanism for control. And we were guinea pigs for it, not just us. And yes, it happened at the institutional level, but the reality is this country's issue has always been at the institutional level when it comes to people who are involved in the education system for accolades and getting inclusion into this identity known as white, and individuals that wanted to get access at a ground level to make things happen so they could get in control of the means of production and the logistics to move it. That's what this is and has always been about. Those are the real levers of power. I'm going to say it again. There was nobody that was involved in statecraft and the utilization of military power, which is what you need to make that happen, that we're talking anything about this mess, unless they were putting somebody in front so that they could leverage with this electoral college system, getting access to it. And even still, it took that whole situation in 1913 to really get any progress with that using the banking system. Maggie's covered it. Everybody here listening right now, if you've got any sort of understanding getting to this point, they've covered that already. So the reason Marxism is important to bring up is because it's a diagnostic tool. It's not something that you go and fight. It's when you understand that's what's playing in the background, you can then filter for it and realize what the actual game is, which is perpetual freaking grievance. So you don't ever get to the revolution piece. You do all the images of it, and anybody that would even try to do it, you've seen, and this is a principle in martial arts, you allow your opponent's useless movements, but you stifle their useful ones. And any time we've been getting involved with regards to that, either we've self-stifled or other people have stifled in their name. And it was mentioned beforehand. The biggest threat to this is men classified as black here in this country getting the reins of logistics and production without anyone's permission. And that ties into the greater conversation we were having before. But that's why that's important. And that's why when we get into, you can say the culture piece, why there's such a hard line that's driven between the solution and quote. Is it to actually have the revolution that isn't going to come? Or is it get your logistics, get your production down, and figure out how to leverage at the time what's useful to make that happen? Which is a conversation that's finally starting to happen outside of a Marxist redistribution grievance model. That's why this is so new. That's why these conversations are important. That's what actually makes the fourth industrial revolution important, because it leveled the playing field in a lot of ways we've never seen before.
Thank you for that.
Apologies, real quick, Mark, for cutting you off, Nameless, because I got triggered low key, high key, when you brought that up, because it is that cultural piece that keeps on being reiterated, and we never actually get to the actual real meat and potatoes part of the conversation, the money part, right? It's always the cultural model that keeps on getting reiterated. And as you said earlier, whenever somebody kind of sneaks in with the money conversation, they get kicked to the curb or some sabotage or some whatever the hell. And we get back to the cultural conversation, which is entertaining, but fruitless. And I'll pause right there. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
So we're going to get to Tie City. Yeah. Mike, you know me and you gonna have a conversation about this rent shit, right? I keep telling people, man, I can see everything that's happening in the chat, man. I can see everything that's happening in the chat. I was engaging with that dude, that you just paused or blocked or whatever, he's back. Don't do that shit again, bro. Don't do that shit again, bro. I'm just saying, chill. Just for a second, man. Just chill. So at any rate, Ty. Hope Ty's still there, man. Ty, you there? If Ty's not there, I'm gonna drop him down and bring up Sir Ism 510. Ty,
I'm
you there?
gonna drop Marcus, but thank you for having me up, bro, and great panel, great conversation. I love this shit. So if you got space, you could sign me up for Politics as Usual 6. So
right,
yeah.
I'll do that. A couple things, right? Definitely want to do that. AM1, are you still here? I want AM1 on one of these panels, right? I don't know if you still hear AM1. I definitely want AM1 on the panel. Tice was supposed to be here, but I don't know what happened to him. So I think we've heard from everybody. So I'm going to bring up Reverend Pimp Daddy. This will be interesting. Hey, look, bro, check it out. Welcome to the channel. I am Marcus. How you doing? Right? The way we do here is motherfuckers say what they want to say. I don't mute mics. I don't do none of this stupid shit. I've never seen your logo before, so you're not the guy who I thought you were. Hey, thank you, Mr. Z. I'll definitely let you know when we're doing this again, right? So talk to us, brother. We want to hear your grievances, because actually your grievances might be some of ours, but we're listening.
Hey, before you go, I want to clarify something, man. I'm not using my energy to control no bitch. She chose me, pimp.
Now let him talk. Let him talk before y'all dogpile him. Let him speak. He's here. He just jumped in. He hasn't said anything yet. Let's not react to what he typed. Mr. Is it Mr. Ism? Is it Ism? Sir Ism. That's right, Sir Ism. Sir Ism, talk to us. We listening, bro.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I stayed patient. I did not hit the unmute. You started off. You cut me a little bit. You called me Pimp Daddy, but you did say Sir Ism before you let me up, because you one of the manosphere guys that be trying to teach these guys, a little bit of game, a little bit of knowledge. Utah City, Ramil, y'all got some sauce about y'all. So y'all like the leader of these guys. Maybe I come off a little too harsh. You never heard of me, but Brother Ty City heard of me. Brother Nameless, Protagonist, he used to come to my channel, give me a lot of game. And as he was talking, just the elegance, not no homo on none, but the silkiness of the brother voice, it made me calm down. I don't know if it's feng shui or some of his Asian stuff. And I said, you know what? I'm not even fit to come in, because that's what they be saying about you, Ism. You come in kicking over tables. And the brother Nameless was just spitting. And he just, but that's the way he spit. See, so I've listened to you sometime and you get on niggas' top, but that's your class. So my class, maybe I'm more, you know what I'm saying, of a defensive coach, see ball attack. Maybe you brothers are more offensive, logistics. Y'all got the big words, and we running trips left and trips right. I'm giving a football analogy to the way y'all teach. Me, I'm more in your face. See the man attack. Like, hey, man, if that's the broad you want, man, go after her. It seems like you guys are so half empty and not half full, brothers. It's like you're never going to win, man. You know what I'm saying? If you want something, that's why I say I guess I am defense, because if you see an interception, you got to take it. If you see a broad, you got to go after. Y'all got every excuse why something is wrong with the batch. And I've been watching this manosphere shit for 5 years, and I really want to help you players. But you can't be lying. You say you're lying. I'm a lion. You niggas be lying. You scared to talk to a woman. You rather just pay for the brawl, but trick sex is not real sex. You niggas is into necrophilia if you're into trick sex, because the brawl wants you to get off. Having an organic, don't y'all like that? Organic, it's like better fruit. You grow it. You plant the seed in the batch. You grow it. And then when you reap the fruits of your labor and you taste it, and it's a beautiful strawberry, that's because that's your woman and you cultivated that. But y'all got every excuse. She gonna want 500 for a date. She gonna want, no. She might want to go to the park and feed the ducks with a loaf of bread if you got some game, if you have some conversation, if you go cut your hair, if you turn off YouTube and do a push-up, I dare you. You players need to get up. You call me 60 and all that shit. Yeah, nigga, I'm 54 summers in the game, still active and attractive. And you niggas, I've been watching you for 5 years and in your 20s and 30s, and you still can't knock a bitch, nigga. You're still crying about child support. It's your child supported, nigga. Now move on. The cold thing about a man, he could get him a whole nother family. And then y'all come over here to these brothers, and then y'all do the politics and do all of that. But you got to come over to my side and get you some aggression, some style, some flavor, some je ne sais quoi. If you don't have that, that's why the bitch ain't choosing on you. That's where you rank. 3s, nigga. You think you supposed to just get a 10 because you ain't Kevin Samuels. If you keep coming up talking about, what's your dress size? How much you average at bed? What do you bring to the table? That sound like sucker ducker talk. You download that and you use your own game. And you rank the bitch. And then you say, what do you bring to the table? Don't say that. You sound like Kevin Samuels. You ain't him. Kevin Samuels was saucy and an old nigga. Ain't that y'all leader? So stop talking about this old nigga. I'm a defensive coach. C-ball attack. Nigga, I thought y'all was lions. When it's mating season, mate. You don't grab on bitch on the back of the neck and shake on her. She just supposed to let you mate. No, nigga, she want to see, do you got something in you? Her son's supposed to be a reflection of you. You niggas act like bitch niggas. Always talking about this nigga and that nigga, and he's a fraud and he's a fake. Can't you see you need to lead yourself? All these niggas is YouTube niggas. You soft poodle bear niggas. You a koala bear that poop. You's a poodle bear. Nigga, when you gonna attack a bitch, nigga, and bite her, nigga? Put a religion on a hoe. You know what my religion on my bitch is, nigga? Islam. On my bitch, nigga. She love my shit. You niggas in the chat, I ain't doing it for you, nigga. So fuck what I'm talking about. Take some of this player game. The brother Marcus, he in shape. He got his camera game. You niggas scared to come from behind that camera, nigga. Some bitches like ugly motherfuckers. If you're in shape, nigga. Some bitches like a big burly nigga. You talk about BBWs. Some of you niggas is BBWs. Nigga, some bitches like big bear niggas to hug them. Big Vince Wolfolk. Big offensive, defensive lineman men. But you nigga just
replace this nigga with hood service.
When y'all gonna stop complaining and knock a bitch and come to the channel and say, hey man, I had a date last night. And then y'all put some of these big word games, that nameless, and y'all be coming up, some of that politics shit, and you'll be the well-rounded player. But if you just politic and all that soft shit and you ain't got no aggression, you're going to lose with the black women, nigga. Go on and get you a snow bunny or a Mexicana or something, man. Because the sisters, nigga, you got to be aggressive. Sorry about that. That's how they is, nigga. And they ain't going to change. Thank you for letting me up, brother. Appreciate it.
Yo, I fucks with this guy, man. I really do. Like, yo, I fucks with this guy. Yo, where you been at, homie? Like, yo, listen, man. Damn, this is. Oh, she. Maggie's still around. She's still. Hey, Maggie, what's going on? She's still on. Yo, I never. You know what I'm saying? This is my first experience with the homie. Yo, I fuck with this dude, man.
and I appreciate it. And I got receipts because my oldest son, he graduated summa cum laude, man. And he a therapist. My middle son in New York, he a photographer. So I never tried to make my sons be in the game of, players and all that. I never said I'm that. Y'all niggas say that, but y'all just see the sauce, nigga. I'm from the Bay. I can't hide it. But my sons, they was into books and stuff, so I cultivated that. So I definitely like that part. I grew up in the Nation of Islam. I was around with the Black Panthers. My father was in that. He stood guard for Malcolm X, but I ain't got to embellish in my exploits, nigga. I could say some big words too, but I need you niggas to attack and be the leaders of your family, man. You niggas is too soft, man.
Yo,
come on, man. Bite a hoe this summer, man. Let's go.
yo, check it out, man. I appreciate everybody for coming on, man.
To get the worst women in creation, I don't understand the point. To get the worst women in creation,
well, just go get you a white woman and stop talking about these sisters. You ain't some of you niggas ain't shit to white women. Well, I got a white woman. You want me to tell you some game to help you get one?
Hold on. Before we do that,
I don't need it.
We approaching the 4-hour mark, man.
Well, just keep complaining about the black batches then.
Yo, hey, I'm not offended by anything you're saying, brother. It has nothing to do with
listen, hold on, slow down, y'all. Slow down. This might be the beginning of something very interesting.
Yes. Replace him with conservative.
Yo,
I got one vote up. Replace him with conservative.
Shout out to Ramil. I see you, brother. Yo, this might be the beginning of something very interesting. Check this out, man. It's 4 hours in. This will be a whole another 4 hours. We fuck around. What I suggest is we bring my man back and we do this.
And wait a minute. And so if we complain about hoes, was Malcolm X complaining about white people?
Tito, I feel you. Listen.
Yes.
We're gonna make it.
Yes,
listen. This what we're doing right now is a lot of fucking potential. Let's save it. Let's save it for the we gonna do right, yo. We gonna do a fresh stream on another day. I want homie to come back. Yo, I'm gonna tag whatever your channel is. I'm about to sub to you so I can tag you and bring you in on the discussion. We're gonna do a panel just like this, and we're gonna have this. We're gonna flesh this out because I'm fucking positive, right, that this dude has some very valid points that he could make, and not only that, but yo, this shit is funny, and I'm with it. So, Tito, I want you set your shit up. I want you bring your ass right back here, and we gonna keep it moving from right here where we at, man. But we can't do it tonight because
I don't have no problem with none of you brothers, man. Just hit Tuesday. Me on the email or anything, post and let me know you want me to pull up. I'll pull up and chop it up with y'all, man. I'm gonna be on my best behavior.
Absolutely. Now, to be honest, yo, the way you talk it is cats that need to actually hear exactly, because maybe they don't want it from me, because I've been trying to tell, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they got to hear from somebody else. Bro,
hey, Marcus,
listen.
it's funny you say that, right? Because I'm a football coach. Well, I was when my kids were younger. That kept us together because we would have to be together 3 days a week and Saturday for the football game. So, and it taught them, even though it's another boy right there, his name may be Little Bam Bam Shoo Shoo. You tackle his ass. So what? He got a name and a rep. It's a mano. But you know, coming over to different places, people be just not wanting to listen because you're different. But I'm actually trying to help the players, man. I ain't like against them. I don't know why everybody thinks that. And sometimes you would tell your son something and you'll be saying the same thing as the brother Tito up there, but he don't want to hear it from you because he tired of hearing it. And then Tito say the same thing, but he said it a different way, and then he catch it.
Mm-hmm. So, yo, we definitely gonna make something happen, but this, yo, wow.
You really 60 years old? You really 60?
54, nigga, looking good.
See the thing about it.
You see that right there?
No, let me tell you about
that. Nigga,
Nation of Islam. Nation of Islam. Let me break this shit. Let me say this before we leave. Nation of Islam. He's a football coach and a pimp, bruh. I know exactly what this guy is, man.
You don't know me, nigga. You some nigga on YouTube with a funny
I know exactly.
You don't know me.
Bro.
This bird brain nigga right here, Marcus.
Listen, we about to
this
do
nigga talking. He know me. This nigga listened to me for about 8 minutes and he know me.
Nah,
you don't know me.
I didn't say
nigga.
I know you. I didn't say I know you.
I was in this world before you knew yourself, nigga.
Hush.
Yo, bro.
I'm not saying I know you.
let's not do the
You don't.
stream that I'm trying to do. Let's not do it now. Let's you know what I'm saying? Let's hold
Oh,
it
but
down.
they don't like me too, Marcus, because
We
I
can
can
all
roast. I
come
be
back
cooking
with our
these niggas.
Yeah, I
gators
like
and our
this guy.
Chesterfield coats.
Sounds like it.
Okay,
Look, they be mad like
we'll come
so.
back with our
Just
gators and
because
our
I come
Chesterfields.
from the streets, I wasn't supposed to be a father to my children, nigga. Have you ever coached some kids?
Man, I'm about to go
Okay,
put on
then.
my
Okay, y'all talk
crocodile
all this
shoes
shit
real quick.
about kids third grade reading level. Well, have you been mentored some children? Have you taught? Have you used your services to help some brothers, some
Here
young
we
men?
go again.
Yeah, about black women, then, nigga. Exactly.
I know
Yo.
exactly what this is.
Yo,
My
we
kids
go.
don't read on third grade reading level, nigga. I
Yo,
just told you one is a therapist, nigga. That means he got a
David,
master's
yo,
degree.
chill. Let's
Soccer
hold
doctor.
Yeah.
let's hold it for later. Yo,
Okay.
I appreciate you for jumping in the 11th hour and shit. Yo, I appreciate everybody that did this thing. We're gonna do it. This sounds like some shit I'm interested in.
Marcus Aurelius,
Tito,
300. I see you, player.
no doubt.
All right,
Hey,
to the rest of you guys, good night, man. Y'all have a good one, man. Salute.
most def. Yo, I appreciate everybody for jumping in here. Tito, you already know what it is, man. We gonna make
Oh,
that
man.
happen. That's solid gold right there. Yo,
And you know what?
peace,
When I wear
everybody.
my
This was
fur, I
politics.
ain't even gonna put the sleeves. Hey, I ain't even gonna put the sleeves. So I'm gonna just hang it on my shoulders and shit with the hat, with the feather.
Oh, that's
and
what
shit.
we doing that? That's what we doing? I'm with it. Yo, so look, this was
It
Politics
sound like
5,
you got
y'all.
to.
Right. This was Politics 5, man. Yo, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to Nameless, Maggie, Tito, Leon, Mr. Z. Yo, go sub that man, bro. Go hit him with a sub, man. Go.
We bringing
Go
pimp
show him some
cups
love.
too?
Huh?
We bringing pimp cups too? Are we bringing pimp
Hey,
cups?
look,
Oh, yeah.
what pimping,
No,
pimping, my nigga.
you
Because I was
gotta
drinking out of
bring the
this.
whole fit. You gotta bring the whole
Okay.
fit, Tito. You gotta bring
This ain't gonna be
a
good.
coach jersey
Yeah, this just
and a pimp outfit, and you have to look like the Nation of Islam all at once.
We just got to make sure we be careful what we say on this motherfucking man, because I ain't trying to catch no motherfucking charges, because you see what they did to my boy Diddy. So anyway, we out of here, man. We out of here. All right, y'all.
All right.
Holla back at me, man. Peace out.